A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes. Best of all, king-size cigarettes brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A 40-year-old mother is found murdered in the bedroom of her home. The body bears the marks of a savage attack with a knife. The killer showed no mercy. Your job? Get him. See the difference. Taste the difference.
Smoke the difference.
You'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality that gives you extra mildness. A much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Yes, in king-size Fatima, you get all the advantages of extra length plus Fatima quality, which no other king-size cigarette has.
Fatima, best of all king-size cigarettes. Definitely the best quality in its class, but the same price as the cigarette you're now smoking.
Remember, thousands of Americans are switching to Fatima. Insist on Fatima quality. So why wait? Switch to Fatima today. Look for the sunny yellow pack. Buy Fatima. Best of all king-size cigarettes.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, February 18th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 10:43 a.m. when we got to Woodview High School, the vice principal's office.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes?
I'd like to see the vice principal, please. I believe her name is Harmon. Miss Harmon?
I'm Miss Harmon. What is it you wanted?
Police officers, ma'am. Is our identification.
Oh, yes.
This is my partner, Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday.
I see. How do you do?
Well, we'd like to talk to one of your girl students, Miss Harmon, Roberta Dixon. Understand she's registered here.
Roberta Dixon. Oh, yes, I believe I know her.
Would you mind calling her out of class, please? We'd like to talk to her.
Well, we generally don't like to do that, officer, not unless it's absolutely necessary.
It's pretty important, ma'am. We've got a message for the girl.
I see. Couldn't it wait until after school hours?
I'm afraid not, Miss Harmon. It's about the girl's mother, and it's pretty serious.
Oh, has she been taken ill, is that it?
No, ma'am. She's been murdered. 16-year-old Roberta Dixon, the daughter of the murdered woman, was called out of her classroom and brought downstairs to the office of Miss Harmon, the girl's vice principal. She was a thin, dark-haired girl in sweater and skirt. With the help of Miss Harmon, whom the girl seemed to know fairly well, Ben and I broke the news of her mother's death as gently as we could. At first, the 16-year-old girl seemed to take the shock with some composure, but suddenly she broke down weeping and became hysterical. When she recovered sufficiently, the girl agreed to come downtown with us to answer a few routine questions. Miss Harmon agreed to accompany her. 11:05 a.m. We checked back in at the office. Ben and I completed the 311 dead body report while Miss Harmon and the daughter of the murdered woman waited in the adjoining room.
What was that time discovered, Joe? You got a note on it there?
Yeah, let me look. 8:55 a.m.
Oh, thanks. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Oh, hi, George. How you doing?
I can't complain. Got some checking out to do. I wonder if you'd help me.
Well, I'll give it a try. Ben, you know George DeCoven, don't you? Reporter from the Daily News?
Oh, yeah, sure. Seen him around. Hi.
So I understand you two are working on that knife murder out on Pico, the dead woman they found this morning?
Yeah, that's right.
There are a few things I'd like to check with you before I do the story. The victim's name was Florence Eleanor Dixon, that right?
That's right, George, yeah.
A couple more things here. Stop me if I got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The victim was 40 years old, divorced, one child, daughter 16. Body was discovered 9 o'clock this morning by a next-door neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the neighbor's name is Esther Fenwick.
No, I think the name's Fenmore, George.
Oh, thanks. Fenmore. I understand you haven't got much to go on. No murder weapons, no other leads.
No, not much of anything so far. We just started on this thing.
How about the husband of the dead woman? You get anything there?
Well, he divorced Mrs. Dixon 2 years ago. There's no line on him yet. We're still checking him out. We might have some word later on in the day for him.
You any other possible suspects in mind, or do you want to say?
No, I don't think so. It's still wide open.
How about a motive? That been established yet?
Could have been one of a dozen things. We're going to have to do some digging before we can say definitely.
It doesn't look like it was a robbery motive. Well, that's about all we can tell you for sure, George.
See, I was over at the morgue when they brought the body in. It's the worst I've seen in a long time. Brutal.
It's pretty bad.
I suppose there's nothing from the crime lab yet.
No. I think they just got back from the house a few minutes ago. If you want to drop by later on this afternoon, we might have something new for you.
Okay, thanks.
Brad.
Oh, say, I saw you bringing the girl in a few minutes ago, the victim's daughter. I'd like to get a couple of pictures of her.
Well, how about making a little later, huh, George? Kid's still upset. Pretty much of a shock for you, you understand.
Okay, I'll be waiting out in the hall with the photographer.
Okay.
You give me a call now. Just a couple of shots. It won't take a minute.
You betcha, George. We'll call you.
Okay.
You about finishing that report, Ben?
Yeah, all done. Guess we better talk to the girl, huh?
Yeah, all right. The morgue say when they're going to post the body?
Sometime today. We ought to have the results first thing tomorrow morning. Miss Harmon?
I think she's a lot better now, Sergeant. Roberta, the officers would like to talk to you a few minutes if you feel up to it.
All right. Who killed my mother? Have you found out?
Not yet, Roberta, and we think you might be able to help her, so.
So hard to believe. I just saw her this morning. She was all right then.
Well, you try to take it easy, Roberta. We'll make it as brief as possible. Now, you and your mother are the only people living at your house, no one else?
No, me and my mother, that's all. My father used to live with us. He doesn't anymore.
How long's it been since your father left?
I'm not sure. About 5 years, I think. He and Mama didn't get along. They got divorced.
Do you see your father at all anymore? I mean, does he ever come to your house to visit?
We did once. It was about a year ago, I think. Wasn't much good. He and my mother argued all the time he was there, and he left. He hasn't been back since.
Has he been in contact at all with your mother, do you know? Does he write her letters, call her on the phone?
The last time was when he came to our house. I haven't heard anything about him since. I don't even know where he is. I don't care, I guess. I hardly even knew him.
I'd like to have you think about this carefully now, Roberta. Did your mother have any close friends who used to come to the house quite a bit?
Yes, 2 or 3 women friends of hers at work.
Any men friends?
No. Mama didn't have any men friends. She didn't like men. She said they were all no good. She used to tell me that all the time.
Do you have any relatives we can contact?
I don't know about my father's side. My mother has a brother and sister in West Virginia. Dresses at home. What am I going to do? Why would anybody kill my mother?
All right, now you try to take it easy, Roberta. Everything's going to work out all right. Look, now, do you think you can give us a list of most of the people your mother knew, friends around the neighborhood, the people she knew at her work?
Yes, I think so. Most of them are in her address book. I think I know where it is.
All right, fine.
Just before you left for school this morning, Roberta, was there anyone in the house besides you and your mother?
No, just the 2 of us.
Was your mother expecting anyone?
Not that I know of.
Your mother was all right, was she? There didn't seem to be anything bothering her?
No. She acted all right to me, just like any other morning. We got up at 6:45. I got dressed. Mama took a shower. I fixed breakfast. We ate, and then I left for school.
About what time was that, Roberta?
A little before 8:30, usual time. I have my first class at 9 o'clock. When I left Mama, she was just finishing her breakfast. I said goodbye. It was the last time I saw her. Can we talk after a while, please? Maybe I'll feel better. Can't talk now.
Oh, sure, that's all right. Would you like to rest here?
I don't know why I'm crying. Stupid. I don't care anyway. No reason to cry.
You better get some rest, youngster.
No reason. It doesn't make sense crying about Mama.
How's that?
I'm not sorry. I'm glad she's dead.
Early that afternoon, after she'd rested sufficiently and recovered herself, we had another interview with Roberta Dixon, the teenage daughter of the murdered woman. Miss Harmon, the vice principal, went back to the school, and a policewoman was called in to be present during the interrogation. Again, she insisted that she wasn't at all sorry that her mother was dead. She said that privately she didn't have any love for either one of her parents, least of all her mother. She told the usual story of a broken home, a father who showed little interest in his daughter or providing a good home for her, a strict, overbearing mother who apparently made no effort to understand the girl. We continued to interview Roberta Dixon, but outside of what she'd already told us, she showed no further knowledge of the murder. Pending action by the court, we had the girl placed in the custody of the juvenile authorities. 3:10 p.m., Ben and I drove back to the murder house on South Pico Boulevard, where we met police reporter George DeKoven. Together with Brian and Ortiz, we continued our preliminary investigation. We rechecked the immediate area of the Dixon home and talked again with the neighbors. We failed to come up with anything new. 4:25 p.m., along with the reporter George DeKoven, Ben and I went back to the murder house.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to jive that time of morning. It's possible, though.
What's that, Joy?
Prowler. Might have been it. You think so?
No, we've already run that down.
Yeah?
We checked communications. There's no recent complaints about anybody prowling the neighborhood. We talked to the neighbors, too. No indication of it. No sign anybody tried to break in here, either.
Got me. I can't figure.
And the Dixon woman sure kept to herself. Lived here 11 years, and we can't dig up more than half a dozen neighbors who really knew her.
That business with her daughter, too. It sure stacks up pretty strange. Didn't the crime lab crew find anything this morning, Joe?
No, nothing great. A jacket, a pair of shoes with a few stains on them. Took them in to run a benzodine test. That's about the size of it.
Sure a slow start.
Yeah. I expected a little more from the neighbors.
So did I.
You know, it'd be different if the thing happened in the middle of the night. According to the daughter, it must have happened at least after 8:30 this morning. Now, if the killer got in the house after that, you'd think somebody on the block would have noticed it. Neighbors close by on either side.
How about checking out in the yard and back? I didn't get too good a look around this morning.
Well, there's nothing more to cover in here. Crime lab's been all over.
Hey, how about where this Mrs. Dixon worked, Joe? Anybody tag base there?
Yeah, Tommy Bryan did. Hotel down on South Grand. She worked in the linen room. A couple of people she knew there, they couldn't tell him anything.
How about some of her other friends?
No, nothing yet. We're still checking.
Go ahead, Joe.
Thanks.
Oh, it's a big backyard. Kept it nice, didn't they?
You want to check alongside here, Ben, with the house? I'll give the back of the yard a look, huh?
Yeah, okay. Well.
Good-sized garage, huh? Pretty hard to find them like that anymore.
Pretty good-sized lot, too. She sure must have worked at keeping it up. There's not a weed on the place, is there?
Yeah. More you can say for the neighbors.
Have a look, George, down here.
Huh?
Flower bed here. 2 little mounds of dirt. You see them?
Oh, yeah.
The ground looks like it's been recently turned, wouldn't you say?
Fairly recent. Wonder what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah. Oh, small wooden crosses pressed down on each one of the mounds.
Queer one, huh? Looks like a couple of small graves, doesn't it?
You want to reach me that stick over there, George?
Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Thank you. Have a look here.
Nice. Nothing on my end. How are you doing? What's this?
Oh, we're not sure ourselves. Wait a minute.
What is it?
Wait a minute. Yeah, all right. There you are.
A bird. Little canary. How about that?
Hasn't been buried long. Look here. Look at the breast.
What do you think, a knife?
Could be. Sharp instrument of some kind. Just a minute. I'm going to try this other mound here.
Wait a minute, Joe. Yeah. It's another one. Yellow canary, same thing. Look at the breast.
Neither one's been buried for more than a few days.
Funny one. The Dixons raised canaries, you know?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It sure doesn't make any sense to me. If they didn't want the birds, you'd think they'd give them away. Why go slaughter them like this?
Yeah, well, it works both ways. Deep wounds in the chest. Some kind of sharp weapon.
Yeah.
The Dixon woman. She died the same way. 4:35 p.m. We took the 2 canaries, wrapped them in paper, and brought them downtown to Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab to be processed. He was still running tests on the stained jacket and pair of shoes which had been found in the house among the dead woman's personal effects. 5:15 p.m. We checked with the office, and then we drove over to Juvenile Hall to see Roberta Dixon. Apparently, she was in a much better frame of mind.
I talked to Miss Harmon this afternoon, our vice principal. She wants me to come and stay with her for a while. Hope she can arrange it. It should be nice.
We were back at your house this afternoon, Roberta. We found something we'd like to ask you about.
What's that?
Well, do you keep any pets in your house? I mean, either you or your mother?
Well, no, not usually. Why?
Well, how do you mean not usually?
Well, we didn't up until a week ago. Mama didn't like animals. She didn't want them around.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got these 2 canaries. I bought them with my own money. I work after school, you know.
I see.
I bought a cage for them, too. My mother was mad when I brought them home. She didn't like any kind of animals. She kept preaching at me. She finally made me get rid of them.
How'd you do that, Roberta?
I got a knife and I killed them.
See the difference. Taste the difference.
Smoke the difference.
You'll find that in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality that gives you extra mildness. A much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Yes, in king-size Fatima, you get all the advantages of extra length, plus Fatima quality, which no other king-size cigarette has.
Fatima, best of all king-size cigarettes. Definitely the best quality in its class, but the same price as the cigarette you're now smoking.
Remember, thousands of Americans are switching to Fatima. Insist on Fatima quality. So why wait? Switch to Fatima today. Look for the sunny yellow pack. Buy Fatima. Best of all king-size cigarettes.
Remember, thousands and thousands of Americans are switching to king-size Fatima, insisting on Fatima quality.
So compare Fatima yourself. When you see the difference, taste the difference, smoke that difference, you'll switch to Fatima.
Because in Fatima, the difference is quality.
Look for the sunny yellow pack. Buy Fatima. Best of all king-size cigarettes.
February 18th, the Dixon girl was released to the custody of Miss Harmon pending action by the juvenile court, 9 p.m. Ben and I double-checked with Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab. He showed us the school jacket and a pair of shoes which had been found in a closet in the home of the murdered woman, Mrs. Florence Dixon. Apparently, the clothing belonged to the daughter, Roberta. There were several dark stains on each of the articles. They'd been checked thoroughly. First, a benzodine test to determine if they were blood stains, then a biological precipitant test to classify them further. There wasn't any doubt in Lee's mind that the stains were recent, but they were made by human blood. The same blood type as that of the murdered woman. It was a little hard to believe, but the evidence on hand pointed to only one prime suspect, 16-year-old Roberta Dixon. Early the following morning, we checked back in at the office. Ben went across the street to see if the coroner's autopsy report was ready. 8:05 a.m. I checked by communications. They had a report on the tracer we'd gotten out on the murder victim's husband, a Charles Dixon. I picked it up and headed back to the office.
Morning, Joe.
Oh, hi, George. You get the message I left for you? I put it on your desk over in the press room.
Yeah, I got it, thanks. How's it look this morning? Anything new?
Well, this here, an answer on that tracer we got out on Mrs. Dixon's husband. He's been living up north for the past year, San Francisco.
That's so? Still up there?
No, not according to this. He died 6 months ago, heart attack.
What do you figure?
Well, there's not much choice.
Joe. Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi.
Autopsy report. Coroner just got it out.
What's the word?
It doesn't jibe with the story we got. The coroner places the time of death close to 7:30 a.m. yesterday. Cause of death, what we figured, chest wound. Some kind of a sharp weapon. There's something else. According to the girl, she had breakfast with her mother before she left for school. Coroner says Miss Dixon hadn't eaten for at least 12 hours before she died.
What was that time of death, Ben?
7:30 a.m., no later.
Well, I guess we better move on it, huh?
Yeah.
What's the angle?
Well, the daughter, she says she didn't leave the house until 8:30. Along with the policewoman, Ben and I drove out to the home of the high school vice principal, Miss Harmon, where the suspect, Roberta Dixon, was staying. There was no one there. We checked at the high school. Miss Harmon told us that she'd brought Roberta to school that morning. She thought that if the girl attended classes, it'd help keep her mind off her troubles. Miss Harmon checked the classroom the Dixon girl was supposed to be in, but she wasn't there. Her teachers were contacted. None of them had seen her that morning. 9:40 a.m., we drove over to the Dixon home. We found Roberta in the back bedroom. She was sitting calmly at a sewing machine, stitching ruffles on a dress. In one corner of the room, there was an empty bird cage.
I'm pretty busy right now. I've got this sewing to do. What do you want to talk to me about?
We've got a few more questions for you, Roberta. It's about your mother.
She's dead, isn't she? Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm afraid we do.
Why do we? Just told me she was dead. There's no sense in talking about dead people. Anyway, I've got this sewing to do. I have to get it finished. There. Isn't that pretty? These ruffles go all the way around the bottom of the skirt. Here, like this. Beautiful color, brown. You like it?
You want to tell us what happened, Roberta, yesterday morning?
Yesterday, I already told you, didn't I?
We don't think you were telling the truth. You want to go over it again for us?
Well, I've got this sewing to do. You can see that, can't you? 3 more rows of ruffles go on. Right here. I have to get it finished. It takes time, you know.
I think you better let the sewing go, Roberta.
Oh, no, I couldn't do that. I have to get it finished.
I'm afraid this is a little more important. I think you realize that.
I went over the whole thing for you already. I told you everything.
Wasn't the truth. You know that, Roberta.
Why do you say that?
Was it the truth?
What do you expect me to say?
That's up to you.
You think I lied, don't you? That's stupid. I haven't got any reason to lie.
Did you kill her, Roberta?
What?
Did you kill your mother?
I told you everything already. That's just the way it was. Mom and I got up and had breakfast, and I went to school, that's all. I don't have any reason to lie. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, hi, Fran. Yeah, I'm working on it now. It's going to be beautiful. What? Oh, no, that's all right, sure. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm all right. Look, can you call me back later? Yeah, I'll be here. Okay, honey, bye. I'm sorry, officers. My girlfriend, Fran. She's a good friend of mine. She can vouch for me. She'll tell you I'm not a liar.
Do you own a pair of brown and white saddle Oxfords, Roberta?
No, why?
How about a school jacket? Green plaid?
No. I don't like green. Brown's my favorite color.
The green plaid jacket was found in the house here. It was stuffed back in the hall closet. It had your name stenciled on it.
Oh, yeah. That old thing. I don't even wear it anymore. Look at that. Won't it be pretty when I get it finished?
That jacket of yours, Roberta, they found blood stains on it. On the shoes, too. Roberta?
I already told you. The shoes aren't mine.
The jacket is.
Why do you keep calling me a liar? Can't you believe me for once? Isn't it bad enough the way things are?
You know, the last time we talked to you, you said you left the house at 8:30 yesterday morning. Is that right?
Yes, it was around 8:30.
Well, we got the report on your mother this morning, Roberta. The coroner says she died at 7:30, no later.
That's stupid. How could he tell anyway?
He can tell.
He's a liar.
Something else, Roberta. You told us you and your mother got up and you had breakfast together.
Yeah, we had breakfast together. Why are you picking on me?
You couldn't have had breakfast together. The time she died, your mother hadn't eaten anything for 12 hours.
I guess you're going to say they can tell that, too.
That's right. You want to tell us what really happened now?
Now tell us the truth, Roberta. It's going to work out a lot easier.
These are some of the toys I had when I was little. I saved almost all of them. My best doll. I had a lot of dolls. I loved them. Guess I still do. I love them more than her.
You mean your mother?
I wasn't fooling. I don't care if she's dead. She didn't mean anything to me. She never did mean anything. These are more of my dolls here. I dressed them all myself, every one of them.
What was the matter, Roberta, between you and your mother, I mean?
I don't know. I guess she just didn't mean anything. Not like anybody else's mother. She didn't mean anything at all. Same as my father. We were in the same house, that's all. Nobody cared for anybody else. It wasn't anything but fighting, or just not saying anything at all. I'm glad she's dead.
You killed her? Is that what you want to say?
Here's a little piano I had. I got one Christmas, I think. Look, still plays.
You want to tell us from the beginning?
It took a long time. I thought about it a lot. A week ago I made up my mind. It's time to kill her. She was getting worse. I couldn't do anything. I was always wrong. Couldn't go out, couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. started the same way yesterday morning. I got the knife from the kitchen. I went in and she was sitting on the bed putting her stockings on. I don't think she knew what happened. Didn't take long.
Were you having an argument with her? Is that what started it?
We argued every morning. I got so tired of it. She had an awful voice. Finally made up my mind. Planned it all out. I even practiced it. You know the 2 canaries I had?
Yeah.
I didn't buy them because I wanted them. They got to be cute, though. I felt bad about killing them.
Why'd you kill them, Roberta?
Practice. Decided to use a knife. I wasn't sure I knew how to do it, though, so I got the canaries. One day after school, I killed them. Gave me more confidence. I knew I could do it after that. Poor little things. I guess I shouldn't have killed them.
That knife you killed your mother with, Roberta, you want to show us where it is?
All right, I'll show you. I don't think you ever could have found it. It's up in the attic. Special place I hide things. Say, would you like some coffee or Coke or something?
No, thanks. Just one more thing. Why'd you leave school this morning? I mean, going off without telling anybody.
I wanted to come back here. I felt like it. I wanted to come back to my room. It's the only place I really like to be. I've lived in this house all my life. And this has always been my room. Toys I had. My dolls. Everything's here. Everything I have. My books. Or my dolls.
Yeah. I think we better be going, Roberta. We'll have to take you downtown.
Yes, all right. I'll get my coat. Then I'll show you where the knife is.
All right.
Officers, could I ask you one favor?
What's that?
It probably sounds silly. It'll help a lot, though. This doll here.
Yeah.
Could I take it with me? Just this one. Make me feel a lot better. Please, do you think I could?
Yeah, sure. Bring it along if you like.
Thank you. You probably think I don't care for anything but my dolls. There's one thing, though, I want to tell you.
What's that?
I'm sorry now, I really am. I shouldn't have done it. I know it was wrong.
You do?
Yes, I'm sorry I killed the canaries.
The story you have just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On May 6th, the hearing was held in Juvenile Court, Department 38, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that hearing.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, I'd like to take just a moment this evening to tell you about Fatima's Christmas gift carton. When you visit your dealer, take a real good look at it. I think you'll agree with me that it's the smartest of all Christmas cartons, just as it should be, because Fatima is the best of all king-size cigarettes. This Christmas season, I'm buying Fatimas for all my friends, and I hope you will, too. Compare Fatima. See the difference. Taste the difference, and then smoke that difference. Because in Fatima, the difference is quality.
At the hearing in juvenile court, Roberta Evelyn Dixon was found unfit to be handled as a juvenile and was certified to Superior Court as an adult. There, she was found to be criminally insane by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the state. She is now confined to a state mental institution where she is undergoing treatment. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Barton Yarborough is Sergeant Ben Romero. Also heard was Joyce McCluskey. Script by Jim Moser. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all king-size cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles. Counter Spy fights international intrigue next on NBC.
Arch Oboler's Plays. A Story in the Night. Tonight, James Cagney in Arch Oboler's dramatization of the most talked-of book of the year, Johnny Got His Gun, by Dalton Trumbull.
We tell you of Joe Bonham. 22 years ago, he went to war. They carried him back from that war. They carried him back because he had no arms, no legs, no ears with which to hear, no eyes with which to see, no mouth with which to speak. Today, he lies alone in a room in a hospital close to your city. He's a living flesh, and he waits. Your world is shut off from Joe Bonham. He has only the world within his own mind. We tell you of Joe Bonham. These are the thoughts of a boy who, 22 years ago, went to war.
Somebody listen to me. I'm talking to you. Somebody listen to me. Gotta talk to somebody. It's dark and lonely. Somebody... No. Going out of my head again. How can you hear what ain't got a tongue, ain't got a mouth, ain't got... No, won't think of that anymore. Gotta think of something, yeah, something else. If I don't think, my head, yeah, quick, think about when I was a kid.
Hey, Joe, come on in swimming.
Yeah, swimming. When I was a kid, I went swimming. Dive in the river, feel the water against my legs and my arms. Now I haven't got any No, won't think of that. Think about my town.
It's the nicest little old place on earth, Shale City.
I gotta remember.
Hamburger, get your hot hamburger, get your hot hamburger.
Yeah, best hamburgers in the world.
All right, boy, here's 30 cents. Go down and get 3 hamburgers.
Pa.
Oh, they're delicious. If I could only cook like this.
Ma, No, don't think of her. Think about... County Fair.
See the lady cut in half the 4th part of $1. Motorcycle rider, defying death inside a straight up and down circular wall.
I can't remember anymore. I gotta remember. If I don't remember things, I'll think, and if I think... No. I gotta remember something. Something. Girls. Think about girls. Quick, think about girls.
Joe.
Karine?
Joe, I'm scared. I'm so scared.
No.
Kiss me. Hold me.
We shouldn't have turned the lights out. Your old man will be sore.
He understands.
Your lips.
Don't go. They'll kill you.
I gotta go. When you're drafted, you gotta.
Oh, Joe. Joe, I don't want you to go. Hold me. Tight. Maybe we'll never get another chance. Now, Joe. In your arms, Joe. In your arms. In your arms.
My arms. My arms.
What?
Joe, hold me. Don't go, Joe.
Get your gun.
Joe, I'm proud of you now. Don't go, Joe.
aboard, soldier. All aboard, soldier.
No. Hold me, Joe. Hold me. Both your arms tight around me. Both your arms tight around me. Both your arms tight around me. Both your arms.
No, stop!
My arms. I haven't got any arms. You hear me, Karine? I haven't got any arms. I haven't got any arms. What's the matter with me? I didn't find it out yesterday or the day before. It was
1939, 1938, 1937.
a long time ago.
Joe.
Karine, you're still in my head. I'll tell you, as if you were here. Here's how I found out everything about myself. I woke up like out of a dream. It was like I was in the water. I tried to swim, but I didn't have any arms. I started to kick my legs to float up in the air out of the bed, but I couldn't kick. I didn't have any legs. I threw my head back. I started to yell. I only started, but how can you yell when you haven't got them up? I began to reach out, Karine. The only way I could reach out, with the nerves of my skin. The hole in my face. Feel the skin creeping around the edge of it. It went. I was blind. What a lousy dream. Nobody could live like that. Just dream, and that's all. But it wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream. Mother, where are you? Hurry, Mother, hurry, and wake me up. I'm having a nightmare, Mother, where are you? Mother, listen to me. I can't stand it. Mother, please, tell me it's not me. Not me, no, not me. Oh, please. That's the way I found out. A long time ago. Who was I telling that to?
Joe.
Oh, Karine. Still in my head. In my heart. Now I'll tell you about how I found out about time. About the days. Knowing about the days you're living through, that's important, see? But all I remembered was... died in the dugout and then... and that was all. A day in September 1918. And that's all. Time stopped then. Start time over again. But how could I catch hold of time when I was caught inside myself? Vibrations. I had it. When the nurse came into the room, the vibration of her footsteps running up through the floor, through the bed, through the springs of the bed, into me. All I had to do was count the seconds, then the minutes, then the hours between each visit she made, until I had 24 hours counted up in my head. And after that, I'd be able to figure the days out just by counting up her visits. One day, the minute the nurse left me, I began to count. 1, 2, 3, second by second, 4, second 5, by second. 6, when I counted 60, that meant a minute, 10, as nearly as I was able to figure it. 13, but I always lost count. I'd think of something else, then I'd lose count again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Day after day after day, but I could never keep track. I couldn't. And all the time, the days were running away from me. And then, one day it happened. The skin on the side of my neck, the half or forward above the mask. Lying there all the years going by, I got to thinking that maybe there was some way I could use those pieces of skin. Skin free to the air. They were healthy. I got to thinking what a man did with his skin.
To feel with.
But that didn't seem enough.
To sweat with.
Yeah, sweat with. Hot and cold.
Sunrise and sunset.
Just like that. The idea came into my head just like that. All I had to do was to feel with my skin. When it changed from cool to warm on that little piece of skin, it'd be sunrise and the beginning of a day. I got to thinking about the nurse and how many visits she made me each day and when she made them. Yeah, I'd better start with the nurse. She changes the bedding.
In a hospital, they must change bedding in the morning, maybe around 8 o'clock. So all I got to do is wait till she changes the bedclothes. That'll mean it's morning. Then wait, maybe 18, 20 hours, and that'll be next morning. That'll be sunrise. You can feel the heat of sunrise against your skin, yeah. So I waited until the next time she changed the bedding. She walked away. Calm down, because you haven't proved anything yet. Calm down and wait and count her visits. Number 2, I dozed off and woke. Visit number 3, time got all mixed up. Then 4, and then the 5th time. Now all of a sudden, I knew it was happening. My heart stopped. My breath stopped. I knew it was happening. Slow at first, crawling along my skin. Warmer and warmer. The rising sun. In my room. I'd won. I'd caught up with time again. The sun. It was dawn. It was dawn for the world and for me. I could smell the dawn. Yeah, me without a face lying there, and the smell of the dew on the grass, and me without eyes, shading my eyes and seeing the sun coming up over the mountains back home, and the hills going pink and lavender like the inside of a seashell. The sun warming my little piece of skin, and me seeing without eyes the town where I was born, and me without ears hearing the lowing of the cows waiting to be milked, and babies kicking in their cribs and rubbing their eyes with their fists. It's sunrise, and I've got it. And now I'll always know when it's sunrise, and they can't take it away from me. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I may never have anything else, but I'll always have dawn and the morning sunlight. A year went by fast. I was a busy guy. I learned a lot. Yeah, could even tell my nurses apart. The day nurse always walked to the bed with 4 steps. She was always the same, but the night nurses seemed to change. One of them must have cried when she looked at me. I felt her tears wet on me. I like to think she was young and beautiful. But every night, summer and winter, week in and week out, month in and month out, every night I was with you, Karine. With you, darling. My arms around you, yours around me. With you, Karine.
Joe, my darling.
Close to you.
My dearest.
My arms around you.
My lover.
And yours around me.
Mine.
With you, Karine.
Oh, Joe. Joe.
2 years went by after I discovered time. 3 years went by after I discovered time. The 4th year started awfully slow. One day I felt vibrations. Vibrations heavier and heavier, and then they stopped. I knew they were standing around the bed. After all these years, visitors. And all at once, crazy thoughts went through my head.
It may be your mother.
No.
Karine.
No, not Karine. Not Karine standing by my bed. You can't see me. Not this way. Not you, Karine. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. Then a hand came to rest on my forehead. A man's hand.
Doctors.
Yes. Maybe doctors come to examine me. Somebody was touching at my nightshirt over my left breast. The cloth fell back against my chest again. It was heavy now, weighed down by something. Medal. They given me a medal. Me, a medal. Me, a medal. Me. The generals were here, around my bed. The generals. The big guys, the famous guys who still had arms and legs and could still see and talk and smell and taste. In my throat, I felt a tearing of something that used to be a voice. I was talking to them, and they couldn't hear me. I was saying, listen, big guys,
I'm lying here like a side of beef. And for what?
War. We're going to war.
Yeah, someone said that, so I went. But why? Why? Somebody just said...
Let's go out and fight for liberty.
Liberty? What kind of liberty? How much liberty and whose idea of liberty? A guy says, come on, let's fight for liberty. And he can't show you liberty. If you're going to die for liberty, you've got to know in advance what liberty is and whose idea of liberty they're talking about and just how much of that liberty we're going to have. Maybe that's a bad way to think. The big guys say it's bad, and I heard them. In the schools and the newspapers and the legislature and the congresses, that's their business. They sound wonderful.
This ground is sanctified by blood. They shall not have died in vain. Our noble dead.
But I'm asking you, big guys, what do the dead say? Did any one of them ever come back and say...
I'm glad I'm dead, because death is always better than dishonor.
Did they say...
I'm glad I died to make the world safe for democracy.
Nobody but the dead know whether all these things people talk about are worth dying for or not. And the dead can't talk. So the words about noble death and sacred blood and honor and such are all put into dead lips by those that got no right to speak for the dead. I'm asking you, big guys... how did they feel about it just before they died? Did all those guys die thinking of democracy and freedom and liberty and honor? You know they didn't. They died crying in their minds like little kids. They died crying for the face of a friend. They died crying for the voice of a mother or father or wife or baby. They died moaning and crying for life. I know. I'm the nearest thing to a dead man on earth. There's nothing bigger than life. What's noble about having your legs and arms blown off? What's noble about being blind and deaf and dumb? I'm dead, big guys, and I died for nothing. You hear me? Nothing. You hear me, big guys? But they didn't hear me. Just as you couldn't hear me, Kareem, if you were standing next to me. All the generals heard was the blowing of the air and the tube in my throat. When I heard the vibrations of the footsteps that said they were going, I began to think. The vibrations. Up to now, I thought only of the vibrations coming to me. How about making my vibrations go to them? Yes, vibrations to them. A footstep on the floor is a kind of vibration. The tap of a telegraph key is another kind. I had it. When I was a kid, Bill Harper and me, we had a telegraph set. Used to telegraph to each other. Dot dash, dot dash, dot dash, dot. I remember the code, the Morse code. All I had to do to break through to the people outside was to lie in bed and dot dash to the nurse. I could give messages and receive messages. I raised my head from my pillow. I dropped it. Then I did it twice quickly. That was it. With my head, raised my head, let it fall on the pillow. The Morse code. SOS, help. I tapped it out of my pillow with my head. SOS. All over the world, that meant help. SOS. Help. Then the door of the room jarred open, and the nurse's footsteps came up to the bed. SOS. SOS. Over and over again. She was looking at me. I knew it. SOS. Help me. SOS. Help me. SOS. Oh, why can't you understand? SOS. Help me. SOS. Help me. SOS. SOS.
Help me. SOS. Help me.
My head full of it. Tapping it out with my head over and over. Over and over. Couldn't stop. Why won't they hear me? Why won't they understand? Why won't they hear me? Kareen, why? No. There isn't any, Kareen. There isn't nothing. I've been talking in my head. There's nothing for me. Nothing.
SOS.
I don't know what day it is.
SOS.
I don't know what month it is. I don't know what year it is. I've been tapping for years and years, and nobody hears me. Nobody. Someone's come into the room. Footstep light. My regular day nurse. Hers are heavy. Who is this one? Start tapping now. What? What is this one doing? Opening the nightshirt. She's moving the tip of her finger against my skin. Huh? Drawing something. Huh. I know. The letter M. I know. Shake my head. Yes, I know. I understand. It's M. Wonderful M. Writing something else on my skin. E. Yes, I got that. R. Yes. Another R. Yes. Now what? Y. Nothing more. M-E-R-R-Y. Mary. Writing again. C-H-R-I-S-T-M-A-S. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, nurse, I understand. Nodding my head to tell you I understand. I can't say it so you can hear me, but in my heart I'm saying it. Merry Christmas, nurse. God bless you. Bells in my town. I'm hearing them in my head, nurse.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
Mother.
And all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Mother, I hear you.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in a hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Every Christmas Eve, I remember.
He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like down from a thistle. But I heard him explain ere he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas, Mother. Merry Christmas, Mother. Nurse. New nurse. Smart nurse. She'll pay attention to me. Old nurse didn't understand. New nurse, you've got to understand. Tapping, I'll start. There, nurse. I did it. Did you understand it? 3, 2, and 3. S-O-S. Did you understand it? I'll do it again. Morse code. You understand? Morse code. Watch, nurse, watch. If I had a tongue, if I had a mouth, I'd yell it at you. I'd scream it at you. But I have nothing but the tapping of my head, so watch, nurse, watch. If you turn and walk out of the room and never come back, you'll be carrying my life with you. You're life and death to me, nurse. Look, I'll tap it again. See? S-O-S. Help me. S-O-S. Oh, I'll do it again. I'm praying now, nurse. Me, just an ordinary guy, I'm praying. Oh, please, God, make her understand what I'm trying to tell her. Please, God, make her understand. I know you're a busy guy. I know there are millions of people praying to you every minute. I know all these things, God, and I don't blame you for getting behind in your orders. Nobody's perfect, but what I want is such a little thing. All I want you to do is to take a tiny little idea that's in my mind and put it in her mind 2, maybe 3 feet away. That's all I want, God. Just a little idea that's in my mind and put it in her mind. It's such a little thing, God. Such a little thing. She's going away. She's gone out of the room. No, can't be true. Can't shove me down under the ground again, bury me deep again. No, I won't believe it, I won't. I won't start crying now. She'll come back. She's my life. She's my chance at life. She will come back. She will. Door. She's back. Brought someone with her. Man's finger on my head. What? Finger tapping on my head. Tapping out W. H. Tapping out the code on my head. A. T. W. H. A. T. What? D. O. Y. O. U. Y. O. U. U. W. A. N. T. W. A. N. T. What do you want? What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? I want to get out. Let me out, that's all I want. I've been lying here for years and years in a room in a bed with a little covering of skin. Now I want out. I've got to get out. If I had legs, I could run away. I could get away. I could get out into the open where there's air, where there's room, where I'm not in a hole and smothering. Inside me, I'd scream and howl and push and fight for room and air, for escape from the smothering, from the loneliness. So, let me out of here and take me back into the world. No. I didn't tap that out. What I just said, I only was thinking. Won't say it to you waiting up there, no. Before I ask you up there, before I tap it out with my head, I've got to think out just what I'm going to tell you. It may be my last chance. I've got it. I've got it. Listen, you up there. I'm tapping it out with my head. Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Let me out. I can earn my keep. I can do a job like anyone else. Take me out of here and build a glass case for me so people can see me. Take me in my glass case to the beaches, to the county fairs and the church bazaars and the circuses and the traveling carnivals. You'll do a wonderful business with me, and I could pay you for the trouble. They've never seen nothing like me. I'm something you can really holler about. I'm the dead man who's alive, the live man who's dead. I'm the man who made the world safe for democracy. Take me into the places where men work and make things. Take me there and say, boys, here's a cheap way to get by. Maybe times are bad and your salaries are low. Don't worry, boys, because you'll have your chance. There'll be another war along pretty soon, and then maybe you'll be lucky like me. Take me into the schoolhouses, all the schoolhouses in the world. They'll scream at first and have nightmares at night, but they'll get used to it because they've got to get used to it. And it's best to start them young. Take me into the colleges and universities and academies and convents. Call the girls together, all the healthy, beautiful young girls. Point to me and say, girls, here is your father. Look, girls, here is your lover. Call all the young men together and say, here is your brother, here is your best friend, and here are you, young men. Take me wherever there are parliaments and diets and congresses and chambers of statesmen. I want to be there when they talk about honor and justice and making the world safe. Put my glass case upon the speaker's desk, and every time the gavel drops, let me feel its vibration through my little glass case. Then let them draft notes and ultimatums and protests and accusations. But before they vote on them, before they give the order for all the little guys to start killing each other, let the main guy rap his gavel on my case and point down at me and say, gentlemen, here is the only issue before this house, and that is, are you for this thing here, or are you against it? And if they are against it, then let them stand up like men and vote. And if they are for it, let them be hanged and drawn and quartered and paraded through the streets and thrown out into the fields where no clean animal will touch them, and may no green thing ever grow where they rot. Take me into your churches, your great towering cathedrals, which have to be rebuilt every 50 years because they are destroyed by war. Carry me in my glass box down the aisles where kings and priests and brides and children at their confirmations have gone so many times before to kiss a splinter of wood from a true cross on which was nailed the body of a man who was lucky enough to die. Set me high on your altars and call on God to look down upon his murderous little children, his dearly beloved little children. Then bring in the fierce ones, the spawners of hate, the inventors of slogans. Bring them in and make them look at me, and then dare them to break the peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have brought you James Cagney playing the leading role in Dalton Trumbo's memorable novel of the year, Johnny Got His Gun. The book was dramatized for radio by Arch Oboler. The musical score was written, conducted by Gordon Jenkins. Mr. Cagney can now be seen in the Warner Brothers picture, The Fighting 69th, and in the forthcoming production, Torrid Zone. In preparation is City of Conquest. The book, Johnny Got His Gun, is the prize-winning novel by Dalton Trumbo. All of us want to thank Mr. Cagney and Mr. Trumbo for their great contribution to this program. Next week, it is our pleasure to present an actor known and respected by all of us, Mr. Ronald Colman, in an unusual play, The Most Dangerous Game. Next week, then, Mr. Ronald Colman. Arch Oboler's plays are a presentation of the National Broadcasting Company. Tonight's play came to you from Hollywood's Radio City. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the herd burns down, when the battle's lost, what? That will be at a set of sun, where the place is on the heath, there to meet with McBeth.
And what could be more appropriate for the Halloween season than the three witches from Macbeth bending over their bubbling cauldrons? Welcome again to Anthology. This is Fleetwood. Each week at this time, the National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with the Poetry Center of the Young Men and Young Women's Hebrew Association in New York, brings you Anthology, a selection of readings from poets, past and present, and the music to accompany their poetry. Our guests today, by transcription, Wallace House, Alec Guinness, with the members of London's famed Old Vic Company. The staring owl her note has sung, with gaping snakes my cave is hung. Of maiden hair my bed is made, 2 winding sheets above it laid. With bones of men my shelves are piled, and toads are for my supper biled. 3 ghosts attend to fill my cup, and 4 to serve my porridge up. The crow is waiting to say grace. Wouldst thou in such a dismal place the secrets of thy fortune trace? Finding poetic material suitable for the Halloween season proved to be an easy job, since ghosts, ghouls, witches, and the like have been a favorite subject of poets down through the centuries. Originally known as All Hallows Eve, Halloween is derived from the rites of the Druids celebrating the day of Samhain, when the Lord of Death called together the souls of the wicked who had died during the year. Since the season abounds with eerie sights and sounds, we've lined up an imposing list of poetic shockers for this edition of Anthology. For instance, let's begin with that typically Halloweenish character, the ghost. The minute anyone says ghost to me, a silly little doggerel flashes through my mind. I haven't the least idea of where or when I heard it, and I may even be misquoting, but I think it goes, I saw a ghost upon the stair. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. Gee, how I wish he'd go away. Ring any bells with you? Well, let's listen to the story of another sort of ghost, one with a British accent. Enter Mr. Wallace House to entertain you with the saga of Albert Ramsbottom and the Edsman.
On young Albert Ramsbottom's birthday, his parents asked what he'd like most. He said, see the Tower of London and gaze upon Anne Boleyn's ghost. They thought this request were unusual, and at first to refuse were inclined, till Pa said, a trip to Metrollops might broaden the little lad's mind. They took Cherry Bank up to London and got there at 4:45. Then, seeing as pubs wasn't open, they went straight away to the Tower. They didn't take much to the building. 'Twant what they'd been led to suppose, and the bad word tower didn't impress them. They said Blackpool had got one of those. At last Albert found a beefeater and filled the old chap with alarm by asking for ghost of Anne Boleyn, as carried her head neath her arm. Said beefeater, you ought to come Fridays if it's ghost of Anne Boleyn you seek. Our union now limits her output, and she only gets one walk a week. But he said if it's ghost that you're after, there's Lady Jane Grey's to be seen. She runs around chased by the headsman at midnight on Old Tower Green. They waited on to Green till near midnight. Then, thinking they'd time for a sup, they took out what food they'd brought with them and waited for the ghost to turn up. At the first stroke of 12, up jumped Albert, his mouth full of cold, dripping toast. With his stick with the horse's head handle, he pointed and said, here's the ghost. They felt their skins going all goosey as Lady Jane's spectre drew near, and Albert fair swallowed his tonsils when the headsman and all did appear. The headsman chased Jane round the grass patch. They saw his axe flash in the moon, and seeing as poor lass were headless, they wondered what next he would prune. He suddenly caught sight of Albert as midnight was on its last chime. As he lifted his axe, father murmured, we'll get the insurance this time. At that, Mother rose, taking umbrage. She said, put that cleaver away. You're not cutting that Albert's head off. Yon collar were clean on today. The brave little lad stood undaunted till the ghosts were within half a pace. Then, taking the toast he were eating, slapped it, dripping side down, in his face. 'Twere a proper setback for the headsman. He let out one howl of despair. Then, taking his lady friend with him, he disappeared, just like that there. When Pa saw the way as they vanished, he trembled with fear and looked blue, till Ma went and patted his shoulder and said, it's all right, lad. We saw it too. Some say 'twere the dripping has done it. From a roast leg of mutton it came, and as the headsman had been a beef-eater, they reckon he vanished from shame. And around Tower Green from that moment, they've never seen sign of a ghost. But when the beef-eaters go on night duty, they take slices of cold, dripping toast.
In addition to ghosts, goblins are standard Halloween fare. They come in all shapes and sizes, ranging from the little girl next door in her mother's best bed linen to the type described by James Whitcomb Riley in one of the most familiar of all children's poems. We thought you might enjoy Little Orphaned Annie. Little Orphaned Annies come to our house to stay and wash the cups and saucers up, and brush the crumbs away and shoo the chickens off the porch, and dust the hearth and sweep and make the fire and bake the bread and earn her board and keep. And all us other children, when the supper things is done, we sit around the kitchen fire and has the mostest fun a-listening to the witch tales that Annie tells about and the goblins that gets you if you don't watch out. Once there was a little boy wouldn't say his prayers, and when he went to bed at night, way upstairs, his mammy heard him holler, and his daddy heard him bawl, and when they turned the kivers back, he wasn't there at all. And they seeked him in the rafter room and cubbyhole and press, and seeked him up the chimney flue, everywhere, I guess. But all they ever found was just his pants and round about. And the goblins'll get you if you don't watch out. And one time a little girl would always laugh and grin and make fun of everyone and all her blood and kin. And once, when they was company, and old folks that was there, she mocked 'em and shocked 'em and said she didn't care. And just as she kicked her heels and turned to run and hide, they was two great big black things a-standing by her side, and they snatched her to the ceiling, for she knowed what she's about. And the goblins'll get you if you don't watch out. And little Orphan Annie says, when the blaze is blue and the lampwick sputters and the wind goes, woo, and you hear the crickets quit and the moon is gray and the lightning bugs in dew is all squenched away, you better mind your parents and your teachers fond and dear, and cherish them that loves you, and dry the orphan's tear, and help the poor and needy ones that clusters all about. For the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. Yes, the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. Now, let's see. What else is standard equipment for the Halloween season? Well, games, bobbing for apples for the kids. I heard a sophisticated variation on that game the other day. In one of the smarter East Side bistros, which liberally dot Manhattan, someone suggested that on Halloween Eve it might be fun to fill the laundry tub with martinis and bob for olives. Pink elephants, anyone? A very highly improbable zoo could undoubtedly be started if you were able to trap some of the Halloween-type animals which race through the pages of the poets who lean toward the macabre and fantastic. Edgar Allan Poe's Raven might be a start, or William Rose Benet's Unicorn. In fact, the poem is called How to Catch Unicorns and ends with this two-line addendum. Really hungry? Good Lord, deliver us. The unicorn is not carnivorous. I have another favorite animal, or maybe I should qualify that, because Archie is an insect, a cockroach to be exact. His career is told at length in a fantastically funny book by Don Marquis entitled The Lives and Times of Archie and Mehitabel, published by Doubleday and Company. As I explained, Archie is a cockroach who used to sneak in at night and use Don Marquis' typewriter while the columnist was out gathering material. There are no capital letters or punctuation in any of Archie's classic poetry, which is understandable when you consider the fact that he had to jump from key to key to operate the machine. I'd like to read one of Don Marquis' most imaginative Archie poems. This one is called Ghosts, with a small G, naturally. Archie is speaking. Go on, Archie. He's a little mic-conscious. Go on. I'll give you the first line of the poem. You want to know...
You want to know whether I believe in ghosts? Of course I do not believe in them. If you had known as many of them as I have, you would not believe in them either. Perhaps I have been unfortunate in my acquaintance, but the ones I have known have been a bad lot. No one could believe in them after being acquainted with them a short time. It is true that I have met them under peculiar circumstances. That is, while they were migrating into the bodies of what human beings consider the lower order of creatures. Before I became a cockroach, I was a free verse poet, one of the pioneers of the artless art. And my punishment for that was to have my soul enter the body of a cockroach. The ghosts I have known were the ghosts of persons who were waiting for a vacant body to get into. They knew they were going to transmigrate into the bodies of lizards, beetles, mice, alley cats, turtles, snails, tadpoles, etc. And while they were waiting, they were as cross as all get out. I remember talking to one of them who had just worked his way upwards again. He had been in the body of a flea, and he was going into a catfish. You would think he might be grateful for the promotion, but not he. I do not call this much of an advance, he said. Why could I not be a hummingbird or something? Kid, I told him, it will take you 1,000,000 years to work your way up to a hummingbird. When I remember, he said, that I used to be a hat check boy in a hotel, I could spend 1,000,000 years weeping. To think that I should come to this. We have all seen better days, I said. We have all come down in the world. You have not come down as far as some of us. If I ever get to be a hat check boy again, he said, I will sting somebody for what I have had to suffer. That remark will probably cost you another 1,000,000 years among the lower creatures, I told him. Transmigration is a great thing if you don't weaken. Personally, my ambition is to get my time as a cockroach shortened for good behavior and be promoted to a revenue officer. It is not much of a step up, but I am humble. I never ran across any of this ectoplasm that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle tells of, but it sounds as if it might be wonderful stuff to mend broken furniture with. Archie.
Ghosts by Don Marquis. If you'd like to read all about Archie's wonderfully zany adventures, pick up a copy of The Life and Times of Archie and Mehitabel. The publisher is Doubleday and Company. It was nice having you on Anthology, Archie.
The pleasure was all mine, Fleetwood. Wow, look at that thunderstorm coming up. I'm going back into the wall.
we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain, when the husband's done, when the battle's lost.
No self-respecting program for the Halloween season would be complete without a plentiful supply of witches. And we have three of the most famous witches in poetic drama. They appear and disappear at will, as you know, in Shakespeare's towering tragedy of Macbeth. Today, we'll not only hear their dire predictions, but follow said predictions through to their ultimate conclusion. Our production stars Alec Guinness as Macbeth, Pamela Brown as Lady Macbeth, with members of the famed Old Vic Company of London. Written about 1606, the play is the drama of the gradual ruin of a man who yields to evil within and evil without. His first crime, carefully plotted for him by Lady Macbeth, is the murder of Duncan, which is only a stepping stone to later acts of violence. Duncan dies, and Banquo. And in Act 4, Macbeth returns to the Cave of the Witches, hoping they will be able to foretell more of the future for him. Look, there they stand behind the bubbling cauldrons, hideous, cackling as they stir their magic broth and mutter evil incantations.
Down, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bow. Fool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Oh, no, you secret black and midnight hags. What is to do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it. Answer me to what I ask you.
Speak, Dimmer, we'll answer. Say if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our master.
Call them, let me see them.
Pouring sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow, grease that's sweating from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself and office deathly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff, beware the thane of fight. Dismiss me, enough.
But ere thou art for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first. Macbeth! Macbeth! Macbeth!
And I 3 years I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Love to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff! What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to't.
Macbeth shall never vanquish thee, until great Birnam Wood, to hide on Tillane Hill, shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me if your art can tell so much. Shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know.
Show his eyes and weave his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Macbeth, thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down. Thy crown to sear mine eyeball.
Macbeth.
And thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former.
Macbeth.
Filthy hags, why do you show me this?
Macbeth.
Not I.
Macbeth.
Fourth will the lines stretch out to the crack of doom.
Macbeth.
Another yet.
Macbeth.
The seventh I'll see no more.
Macbeth.
And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. and some I see the twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight!
McBeth.
Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What is this song?
Macbeth, 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 Macbeth,
Macbeth's bloody trail leads from the Cave of the Witches toward the final scenes of the play, when he and his queen must pay for their crimes of overambition. Lady Macbeth's mind cracks under the strain of the terrors she has known, the horror she has caused, and she is given at night to walking the passages of the castle in her sleep. On this particular night, there are observers waiting in a darkened corner by the stairs where she will descend.
Lulu, here she comes. This is her very guise, upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
How came she by that taper?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Aye, but their senses shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continuing this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damn it, spot out, I say. 1, 2, why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. If I'm a Lord Fire soldier and afeard, what need we fear? Who knows it when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of the blood. Still, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Wash your hands, put on your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed, there's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed.
The Queen dies by her own hand. Birnam Wood moves to Dunsinane as predicted by the three witches. And now their final prophecy comes true as Macbeth faces Duncan in the stormy battle scenes which climax this great Shakespearean drama.
That way, the noises. Tyrant, show thy face. Beast slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched curds whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be, by this great catter, one of greatest no-teens rooted. Let me find him, Fortune, and more I beg not. They've tied me to the stake. I cannot fly. But bear-like I must fight the course. What's here that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none. Turn, hellhound! Turn! Of all men else I have avoided thee. But get thee back.
My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword now. Bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou the infringed air with thy keen sword impressed as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee MacDuff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope, I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and lift up in the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here you may see the time.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rebel's curse. Though Burnham would be come to dance in aim, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, MacDuff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough.
Hail, Malcolm, King of Scotland! See where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
Well, we hope you weren't too frightened by our Halloween poetry or the excerpts from the RCA Victor LP album of McBeth. Just in case you might be a little uneasy, a few lines which were whispered by Scottish mothers to their babies during just such a season as this. From ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night, may the good Lord protect you. Next week on Anthology, the story behind the famous Cadman records related by Barbara Cohen and Marion Roney, the company owners, with excerpts from the latest Cadman albums featuring Alfred Drake, Basil Rathbone, and William Faulkner. Anthology is brought to you transcribed in conjunction with the Poetry Center of the YM and YWHA in New York. This has been an NBC radio production, written and directed by Draper Lewis. Until next week, this is Fleetwood wishing you goodbye and good reading.
Jell-O in those 6 delicious flavors, Jell-O puddings for old-fashioned homemade goodness, bring you Baby Snooks. Yes, it's the Baby Snooks Show, starring Fanny Bryce as Baby Snooks with Hanley Stafford as Daddy, Carmen Dragon and his orchestra, and yours truly, Harlow Wilcox. And brought to you each week by Jell-O and Jell-O Pudding. Well, I guess I don't have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that last night was Halloween. I don't know what you did, but here's what happened in the Higgins home. The family was just finishing dinner.
Mommy, please can I go?
No, you may not. Snooks, I told you a dozen times you can't go out tonight.
But it's Halloween.
I know it. That's why you're staying home, so you can't get into any trouble.
But all the kids will be out.
You heard your mother. The subject is closed.
Can we open it just a tiny little bit?
No. Tonight of all nights, I want to spend a quiet, restful evening.
Why?
Because there's a doctor coming over at 9 o'clock. He's going to examine me for insurance.
Do you think he'll find any?
Very funny.
More chocolate cake, Lancelot?
No thanks, dear. Not with the doctor coming. At my age, it doesn't pay to stuff myself.
I want some chocolate cake.
Look, you've had 3 pieces. Do you really want some more?
Yeah. At my age, it don't make any difference.
Yes, I think I'll go in the other room and lie down. I've had a hard day, and I'd like to relax a little before the doctor gets here.
Go ahead, dear, and I'll clear off the table.
Oh, boy, that couch looks good.
Daddy.
What is it?
If I promise to stay in front of the house,
No,
please.
no. Now, please leave me alone. I'm going to take a nap.
But it's Halloween outside.
It's Halloween inside, too. And you won't get into any trouble. Now, I want no further discussion on the subject. Yep, this couch is the best buy I ever made. Ooh. I could sleep for a week if my nerves would just let go. Hope it doesn't show up in my blood pressure. Oh! Huh? Oh, what's the big idea, Snooks?
I put on my Halloween mask. Ain't it pretty?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, can't you go away and let me sleep? The doctor will be here in an hour. Perhaps you don't understand how important this is.
Perhaps I don't.
Well, it's not myself I'm doing it for. It's for you and the family. Insurance is protection. If anything happens to me, you'll get a lot of money.
How much?
Oh, maybe $10,000?
Daddy,
What?
can I have a dime in advance?
No. You've already had your allowance this week.
I'll give you the dime back, dear,
When?
when I get the $10,000.
Snooks, I don't think you know what you're saying. You only collect insurance if something happens to the insured.
What could happen?
Why, hundreds of things. And there's a different type of policy to cover each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Life, health, accident. Why, you could even insure a finger.
My little finger?
Why, yes. Suppose you lost your finger.
How can I lose it? It's stuck onto me.
I didn't mean you'd leave it lying around somewhere. But suppose you accidentally cut off your finger.
Yeah.
What would happen?
I could only count up to 9.
No. You could collect on it. Let's say it's my finger.
Yeah.
If it should happen to get cut off, the company would pay $1,000.
$1,000 for your little finger?
Yes, sir.
Let's cut it off.
Snooks, please go away and let me sleep. My blood pressure's bad enough.
Can the doctor fix it, Daddy?
This doctor isn't coming here to fix things. He's coming here to look me over. Whatever he finds wrong, he'll report to his company.
I don't like that doctor.
Why not?
He's a snitch.
He's not a snitch.
He is, so he's a dirty old dirty old snitch.
Oh, Snooks, for the love of heaven, leave me alone. Go away.
Where?
Anywhere.
All right, I'll go outside.
No, you don't. Go someplace else in the house. I'm trying to take a nap.
I want to take a nap.
Well, now, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Suppose you run up to your bedroom and lie down.
No, I want to lie next to you on the couch.
You can't.
I want to lie next to you on the couch.
Oh, all right. I suppose it's the only way I can get some rest. Now, come on. Lie here next to Daddy and go to sleep.
All right. Good night, little Daddy.
Good night.
Daddy,
Yes?
I think I got insomnia.
Well, just lie here quietly and don't disturb me.
All right. Daddy.
Oh, what is it?
What's insomnia?
Listen, Snooks. If you can't fall asleep, count sheep.
Little woolly sheep?
Yes.
With big brown eyes?
Yes.
I don't like sheep.
Well, count kangaroos jumping over a fence.
I like kangaroos better.
Oh, good.
11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25.
All right, let's have it. What happened to 14, 19, and 23?
They tripped.
That settles it. Snooks, if I hear one more peep out of you, I'm going to take my belt off. And you know what'll happen then?
Mm-hmm. Your pants will fall down.
No. I'll give you a tanning, that's what. Now, either you let me take a nap or suffer the consequences.
Well, Dad.
Not a sound.
But, Daddy,
now, you heard me. Don't even open your mouth. I could get more rest in a boiler factory. Oh, just to close my eyes for 15 minutes. Oh, for Pete's sake.
I didn't do it.
Well, go and see who it is.
All right. Hi, Snooks. Oh, hello, Phoebe. Can you come out for Halloween? Not so loud, Phoebe. My daddy's asleep on the sofa. But all the kids are outside. Why don't you ask him? I did ask him. He won't let me. Shall I ask him? No, you wake him up. Can't you see he's asleep? Well, what's he doing sleeping so early? He's waiting for a man to come and see him. About what? About cutting off his little finger. Gee, he don't snore like my daddy does. Oh, sometimes he snores. Sometimes he even whistles. Does he talk in his sleep, too? Yeah. Does yours? No, that's what makes my mother so mad. He just mumbles. Poor tired old daddy. Don't he look pretty sleeping on the couch? Yeah, I guess we better not wake him up. No, I wouldn't wake him up. I wouldn't wake him up for anything in the whole world.
Oh, for goodness sake! I give up.
Did you have a nice little rest, Daddy?
Great. With you two kids jabbering in my ears.
Baby wanted me to wake you up, but I wouldn't do it. I just wanted to know if Snooks would come out, Mr. Higgins. It's Halloween.
All right. Go ahead. Shoo, both of you. Get out of the house.
Come on, Snooks, before he changes his mind. All right. Bye, Daddy.
I should have done that an hour ago. Maybe I'd have gotten some rest. Now I'm so wide awake, my nerves are screaming.
Lancelot, was that you yelling?
Yes. My defenses just collapsed. I held out as long as I could, but I'm only human.
What do you mean?
I let Snooks go out.
Oh, well, it is Halloween, after all. Maybe it's for the best.
It's not for the best. Every Halloween it's the same thing. Life and property aren't worth 2 cents with those kids chasing around the streets.
What do you plan to do about it? Eliminate the holiday?
No. But I can teach our daughter a lesson. You see this mask I'm wearing?
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
Great. Well, maybe the mask isn't so bad, but when I put on these false tusks...
Oh, Lancelot, that's horrible.
Pretty frightening, isn't it? Well, you wait here. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Where are you going?
Out to teach those kids a lesson. I'll give them such a scare they'll never want to go out on Halloween again.
Whose doorbell shall we ring first? Let's ring this one right here. Okay, put on your mask and I'll sit on my broom. Go ahead, ring it. I did. Someone's coming. Trick or treat, trick or treat.
Well, if it isn't 2 little goblins on my doorstep.
Oh, Mr. Wilcox.
What's this trick or treat business?
Well, you gotta treat us to something or we'll play a trick on you. Yeah.
You know, I sort of suspected this might happen tonight, so I've got a treat all ready for you. Come on inside. Here it is, kids. Right on the table.
Oh, boy, I'm yellow. With cream. A little piece of fruit inside.
Ah, that's the Jell-O Halloween special. Snooks, that looks like a dish of sunshine all dressed up, doesn't it? And just taste that wonderful flavor. But hey, don't eat so fast. That's the famous locked-in Jell-O flavor, you know. Sealed in by a special process, so it's safe and sound till your first big spoonful. Makes you think of the real ripe fruit, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't think of a thing I like better than a dish of Jell-O. Can you?
Yeah, another dish.
Well, I'm afraid that'll have to do for now. When the sugar shortage is over and there's lots of Jell-O again, you come round and I'll give you each 6 dishes. One of each of the 6 delicious Jell-O flavors. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. How's that?
Cool, boy.
And now, if you 2 goblins have finished gobbling, just put a mark on my door and leave me alone for the rest of the night, eh?
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, kids. Happy Halloween.
Well, who's next? Let's try the house on the corner. Okay, come on. Hello, Snooks. Hiya, Phoebe. Who are you? It's me, Roger. Oh, you didn't recognize me with this pumpkin on my head, did you? Gee, is that a real pumpkin? Sure. Ain't it uncomfortable? Well, it was a little warm at first, but it's better now that I put the candles out. Hey, come on, let's go down to the drugstore and see what we can get. Yeah. Well. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. What's the matter? I saw something move behind that tree. It looks like a man. No, it's an animal. It's got big, long teeth sticking out of its mouth. Oh, I'm scared. Here he comes. Run for your life.
Little children should be home in bed. Well, that ought to teach them.
Hey, what's the big idea, Bud?
Huh?
Haven't you got anything better to do than to go around scaring kids?
Look, friend, I suggest you mind your own business. One of those kids happens to be my daughter.
Well, one of those kids happens to be my son. And I don't like any overgrown ape with false tusks running around scaring him.
I did it for their own good. Every Halloween, those kids go out and get into trouble. Besides, I don't like your attitude.
Oh, you don't, huh?
No.
Say that again.
I don't like your attitude.
Next time, try scaring somebody your own size. So long.
Oh, what's this? Ah! My teeth! Oh, they're the false ones.
Hello, Daddy. What are you lying in the gutter for?
I slipped and fell down.
Gee, that's funny.
Now, what's funny about it?
You must have tripped just when that man hit you.
You tell me something. Who was that man?
That was Mr. Hopkins, Roger's father.
Oh, where's he live?
Right down the corner. Why?
Never mind. Come on. Any man who punches your father does so at his own risk.
Why didn't you sock him back?
Because I've got a brain in my head, that's why. Suppose I did punch him back. With the tremendous power I generate, I could easily have broken my hand. 9 chances out of 10, the hand wouldn't have healed straight.
Mm-hmm.
And there I am, faced with the prospect of never playing the piano again.
Oh. But, Daddy.
What?
You don't know how to play the piano.
Mind your own business. Pick up that rock.
All right. Here. What are you writing?
Oh, just a little note.
A little note?
Yes. I'm going to throw a scare into that bully. Now, do you see that window in Hopkins' living room?
Mm-hmm.
The one that's open?
Yes.
Well, I take the rock, thusly.
Mm-hmm.
And I attach the note with a rubber band, thusly. And I draw back my arm, thusly. And with uncanny accuracy, I toss it through the open living room window.
Thusly.
Guess my aim isn't what it used to be. Come on, let's get home.
That was fun, Daddy.
Don't say anything about it to your mother. Well, come on, we'll just sit in the living room as though nothing happened.
What did it say, Daddy?
What?
The note you tied to the rock.
Oh, I just thought I'd worry him a bit. He won't figure that one out in a hurry. All the note said was, guess who?
That's a good one, Daddy.
Yes. Well, it's pretty clever. What was that?
It's the rock. It came through the window. And there's a note on it.
What does the note say?
It says, who?
Uh-huh. Wants to play, does he? Well, 2 can play at this game.
Can 3 play?
Yes, come on.
Lancelot, what happened? What was it? Good heavens, who broke our window?
Vandals, Vera. Irresponsible hoodlums. A law-abiding citizen like me hasn't a chance on Halloween.
Where are you going?
Out to chase him away. Let's go, Snooks. your way forward a little.
Daddy,
What?
I'm tired of crawling on my stomach.
This is the way they do it in the army. If you don't want to be seen, you crawl forward on your stomach.
Yeah, but not down the middle of the sidewalk.
The idea is that we don't want him to see us from the house.
What are we going to do?
I don't know yet. Oh, wait. I've got it. You see this gate here?
Mm-hmm.
See the garage over there?
Yeah.
Well, if Mr. Hopkins wants to use this gate tomorrow morning, he's going to have to climb up on the garage to do it.
You're so smart, Daddy.
You can say that again.
You're so smart.
Never mind. Let's go to work. Home, sweet home.
Gee, that gate looks funny up on top of the garage.
Yes, it did, didn't it? But I don't want you to get the wrong idea from all this.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things are merely mischievous pranks. Others have a purpose behind them. Understand?
No.
Well, let's put it this way. Your daddy has never been a believer in a policy of appeasement.
Neither have I.
That's the way I like to hear you talk.
What does appeasement mean?
Well, when someone strikes you and you don't strike back, that's appeasement.
How do you like that?
What?
I've been appeasing you and Mommy for years.
Well, off to bed with you, Snooks. After the gate episode, I don't think we're going to hear from Mr. Hopkins again tonight.
I want to stay up and see what else next happens.
Rest your pretty little head.
My pretty little head?
Well, your little head. Nothing's going to happen next. Our friend Mr. Hopkins has shot his bolt. Did you hear something, Snooks?
Yeah. What was it?
I don't know. The windows seem to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be the doctor. Go answer the door, Snooks.
All right. Can't answer the door, Daddy.
Oh, why not?
There ain't no door to answer.
What? No door?
It's on.
That does it. He wants trouble. All right, he'll get all he's looking for. I got it. A brilliant idea. Run into the kitchen, Snooks, and get some hamburger, a pail of water, and your mother's flat iron.
What do you want with it?
Now, don't ask questions. Just get them.
All right.
Now, before I pay a visit to Mr. Hopkins, I'm going to prepare a little reception for him in case he returns. First, this rope stretched across the front stoop and up over the trellis. Hurry up, Snooks.
I'm coming, Daddy.
And now another rope stretched this way.
Here you are, Daddy.
Oh, thanks, Snooks. Now I just put the flat iron up here, and the bucket of water goes up on this side. Get the fiendish ingenuity of it?
No.
Well, if an unexpected visitor, say Mr. Hopkins, walks across this side of the porch, he gets the flat iron on his noggin. On the other hand, if he trips the rope on this side, he gets a refreshing bath of aqua pura.
Who gets the hamburger?
I think this hamburger will interest some of the many dogs in our neighborhood. To arms, Snooks. The Higginses ride again.
Yeah, let's go to the dogs. See, Daddy, I bet we got 50 dogs following us.
Well, quit patting them. Just keep dangling that hamburger. And stop nibbling at it.
Gonna have a little taste.
Well, what do you want to eat raw hamburger for?
I just want to find out what they see in it.
You'll find out when we toss it through Hopkins' front door. Now, come on, there's the house. Now, here's the strategy, Snooks. One of us knocks on the door. When the door opens, the other one throws the meat inside. The dogs follow the meat, and Hopkins' living room becomes a bedlam. You got it?
Uh-huh. We throw the meat inside.
That's right.
And Hopkins' living room becomes a bedroom.
Not bedroom, bedlam.
What's a bedlam?
Never mind. Go up and knock on that door.
All right.
Now run, Snooks. Here you are, Hopkins. Some groceries. I'll
I'll bet there never was a youngster yet, including the contrary Snooks, who didn't go for the flavor of butterscotch. And when it's Jell-O butterscotch pudding, well, mothers, get set to serve second. For Jell-O butterscotch pudding has such a buttery, brown sugar taste, such a rich, mellow flavor, a creamy smoothness that's just plain melt-in-the-mouth goodness. It's a real old-fashioned homey flavor, but made a quick, new-fashioned way. Jell-O butterscotch pudding cooks to velvety perfection in just about 5 minutes. And it's nourishing, made with milk. A grand dessert for the youngsters. Then there's Jell-O vanilla pudding, rich tasting and distinctive. And there's Jell-O chocolate pudding with that swell, chocolatey goodness. A little hard to get these days, but a wonderful treat when you do get it. And take whatever flavor your grocer has. For all three Jell-O puddings are so good. They're just like Grandma's, only more so. Back to Halloween in the Higgins home. Mummy is on the telephone.
What's that, Mrs. Hopkins? Oh, but that doesn't sound possible. You mean you were sitting in your living room minding your own business and my husband threw a pound of raw hamburger in your face? Oh, really, Mrs. Hopkins? My husband wouldn't do a thing like that. Well, it's probably just another Halloween prank. Well, I don't know what you're complaining about. You should see my house. Windows broken, the front door gone, and the duck... Good heavens, I've got to hang up, Mrs. Hopkins. A strange man just staggered in here and fell unconscious at my feet.
Oh, get me a doctor.
Who are you?
I'm the doctor. The insurance doctor.
You poor man. What happened?
Somebody hit me with a flat iron.
Oh, dear. Oh, here comes my husband. He'll help you.
Oh, what's the trouble, Vera?
What happened, Mummy?
Oh, Lancelot, this poor man is the insurance doctor. Somebody hit him with a flat iron.
A flat iron? Shocking.
Oh, Daddy, that must have been the iron.
Hey, Snooks, run into the kitchen and get the doctor a glass of water.
All right.
Oh, my head.
Okay, Doctor. Up we go. On your feet. There. How do you feel now?
A little wobbly, thanks, but I guess I'll be all right. Are you Mr. Higgins?
Yes. Would you prefer to skip the examination for tonight?
No, as long as I'm here, I might as well get it over with. I'll get my baggage out in the car.
Oh, fine. Oh, Doctor, look out for...
Oh, the poor man. Lancelot, who put that water bucket up there?
Vandals.
Daddy!
Get out of the way, Snooks. I've got to drag the doctor back in.
Oh, how do you feel, old man? Oh, my head. What's going on here?
Here, drink some water. Give me that glass of water, Snooks.
I didn't get it.
Didn't get it? I told you to bring a glass of water for the doctor. Why didn't you get it?
I was scared.
Now, what could you possibly be scared of?
There's a horse in the kitchen.
A horse?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. What would a horse be doing in the kitchen?
Eating curtains.
Good heavens, there is a horse in the kitchen.
Not anymore. He's coming right here.
Stand back, everybody. Look out, Doctor. The horse is going to step on you.
He did step on him.
Oh, the poor man. I hope he carries insurance.
He's gone. Out the front door.
Are you all right, Doctor? Let me help you out.
Oh, what a house. Help me to my car. I want to go home.
Oh, sure, Doctor. I'm terribly sorry.
He's down again.
Oh, what hit him?
A rocket just came through the window.
Oh, another one, eh? And there's a note attached to it. What does it say?
It says, thanks for the dogs. He's a horse on you.
Why, that low down.
Lancelot, what is this all about? What's going on here tonight?
I'll explain it to you later, Vera. Meanwhile, there's work to be done. Come on, Snooks.
All right. What are we going to do this time, Daddy?
This time, he gets the works. It's a little trick I learned in college called the sunken living room. It's fiendish in its simplicity. I merely climb a tree beside his house and drop the end of a garden hose down his chimney.
And I turn it on?
You guessed it.
Snooks, Brady running. I can't talk to you now, Phoebe. I gotta call the fire department.
What for?
My daddy stuck head first in Mr. Hopkins' chimney. He fell out of a tree. Well, what are you calling the fire department for? To get him out. I don't think they'll come, Snooks, unless there's a fire. There is a fire, all right. Mr. Hopkins is building it in his fireplace. Hello? Oh, hello, Roger. How's your father feeling today? That's good. Oh, the doctor says my daddy will be all right in a couple of days. Yeah. As soon as they take the stitches out. What? Oh, I'd love to come over and go waiting in your living room. But I can't leave the house. My daddy won't let me. I don't understand it. But he says every time he lets me out of his sight, I get into trouble. Ain't Daddy funny?
Well, Snooks has done it again. She's really wonderful. And we hope you'll be with us next week when Snooks gets going in another of her amazing adventures. Until then, remember Jell-O and Jell-O pudding. Snooks, what do you say about Jell-O?
Just a taste of Jell-O pudding or of Jell-O, and you know it's the one and only Jell-O. I like it.
Happy, healthy dogs speak for Gaines. Gaines Complete Meal contains everything dogs are known to need. Many things meat alone cannot provide. Yes, make Gaines the main part of every feeding to be sure you nourish every inch of your dog. And it's more economical than any other type of dog food. Let your dog speak. Speak for Gaines, America's largest selling dog food.
Be sure to listen to The Thin Man, which follows in just 1 minute. Heard in tonight's Baby Snooks show, starring Fanny Bryce as Snooks and Hanley Stafford as Daddy, were Arlene Harris, Ben Alexander, Frank Nelson, Georgia Ellis, Sarah Berner, and Robert Bent. This is Harlow Wilcox speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of terrifying imagination. To the world of enchantment, spells, bewitchery. These are all words from our childhood. Pleasant memories of nursery stories before bedtime. The dark side of magic we knew nothing of. And when we grew old enough to learn, dismissed as ignorance and superstition. But once again in our times, incantation, exorcism, and the haunting belief in demonic possession are alive and abroad. They are what this strange tale is about.
I tell you, Doctor, it's the God's honest truth. They brought the young man in on the rolling stretcher to the emergency room, and he had this big sort of dent in his head. Oh, he didn't look like he was breathing at all. There was me with me bucket and me pail trying to clean up. Just me and the young man on the stretcher and the old wino repeater we called PJ they brought in earlier, snoring and dribbling. And that's when it happened. Came right out of old PJ's mouth and across the room and right up the young man's nose like that. With a burny, cindery smell like the old scissor grinder's stone wheel used to make. Oh, a great black cloud with red eyes in the middle and a long forked tail. Oh, I'd take an oath of it on me mother's grave. It was the devil himself.
Our mystery drama, Possessed by the Devil, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Donald Buca. It is sponsored in part by Contac, the 12-hour cold capsule, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
If you take a look at the new 1975 cars, it doesn't take long to notice the European influence is strong. And to be sure, there are some new American cars that rival the Europeans, one being Buick's new Skylark SR. But don't consider a Skylark SR because of its touring car interior or its rather rakish profile. Consider it because it's a Buick, possessing many of Buick's nicer innovations, like the new Buick V6, a peppery little engine that spits out a plentiful amount of torque while sipping a surprisingly small amount of gasoline. And if you wish, Skylark SR can abound with creature comforts seldom found on cars this size, with available items like Cruise Master speed control, AM/FM stereo. But you've heard enough. Now you need to see and drive a Skylark SR. And try to remember, it's not a European touring car. It's a Buick.
Buick, dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone.
Who knows how to help you solve your shopping problems? Your Better Business Bureau knows.
Oh, dear. All of this furniture is so beautiful. Look at this beautiful leather chair and this gorgeous oak table. And the prices are so low, I don't know which one to buy first.
I'll help you, madam.
But who are you?
I'm the man from the Better Business Bureau. Listen carefully. New federal regulations require that furniture be properly labeled, describing what it's made of, plastic, wood, veneer, and so forth. Be sure to read the labels on the furniture. They'll help you.
Oh, I see. Why, look, the label on this marble table says made of marble dust. No wonder it's cheaper. Oh, thank you for telling me.
Think nothing of it, little lady. Just passing along another consumer tip from your Better Business Bureau.
From the beginnings of history, it is there in some form. Possession. The incubus who ravishes maidens while asleep. The succubus who tempts man into seduction in his dreams. The Dybbuk, that lost soul who dies before his time and is compelled to wander in space till he can steal a body to live out his allotted years. Fact? Superstition? Hallucination? Here is such a modern legend. You be the judge.
Okay, Doctor, an IV set up for old Wally Wino here, glucose. So start it right away.
Yes, Dr. Daniels.
He don't look like he's long for this world.
He hasn't got a cell he hasn't drowned in alcohol. His liver's like a washboard. But I'm not sure I concur with your diagnosis, Mrs. Gideon. Still, I don't know this time. Oh, another emergency. And this is supposed to be the quiet hour.
Do you want me to get out for a while, Doctor? I'm near finished.
No, go ahead with your cleaning. Just don't get run over by the stretcher. Put him over here, boys. Now, what have you brought me this time?
Oh, you poor old souse. Dead to the world's the word for you, all right. You got me sympathy. With my arthritis, many's the time I've been tempted to have a go at the hard stuff myself. Oh, but thanks to sweet Mary, she's held me back. A little sacramental wine to ease me bones keeps me going. I had a few tonight, I can tell you. Oh, but there's always them breath sweeteners to take it away. I hope.
Well, how's your patient, Mrs. Gideon?
Oh, Doctor, I hope he's not a Catholic. The father might never make it in time. How's yours?
Oh, mine's out of my league. What I need is a brain surgeon. Huh. Speak of the devil, Considine just walked past the door. Dr. Considine. Dr. Considine, sir, I've got an emergency here.
Mother of heaven. And me here alone with two near corpses. I didn't see it. I couldn't have. Oh, but I did. I seen it. Oh, the good saint preserve me.
Hey there, Mother. Well, where am I?
Oh, in the Mercy Hospital. Oh, you shouldn't be getting up.
Oh, ma'am, you're sure a different kind of nurse.
Oh, I'm no nurse. I'm the cleaning woman.
Oh.
And you hadn't oughtn't to be sitting up, not with that clout on the head someone's after giving you.
Huh? What clout on the head?
Why, that great big dent as big as a soap plate they brought you in with.
What are you talking about? I'm late for the operating room already.
Dr. Considine, he has a depressed skull fracture. I don't even know if he's still alive. Good Lord, what are you doing on your feet? Dr. Considine, will you help me get him back on the...
Hey, hold up. Wait a minute. Look, there's nothing wrong with me.
Mister, an ambulance just brought you in here with a skull fracture. You were out cold in deep shock.
But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing the matter with my head. Look.
Holy mother.
Excuse me, Mr. Mike. Michael Damon. Oh, well, I'm Dr. Considine, Chief of Neurological Surgery here at the hospital. Would you mind sitting down on this chair for a second and letting me check you out? Oh, sure, Doc. Look, I've got to admit I don't remember how I got here to the hospital, so maybe you ought to have a look at me.
Mrs. Gideon, what's the matter with you? You look like you just saw a ghost.
It wasn't no ghost, sir.
Dr. Daniels, get over here.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind casting your eagle eye over the back of this young man's head and show me one scintilla of evidence of skull fracture or concussion?
Doctor, all I know is Jake Bronstein brought him in on the wagon and he had a decompressed area you could have laid your hand in.
That's right, sir. I saw it myself.
Someone here has been drinking. Daniels, look. If this is your idea of a joke, No, never mind. We'll discuss this later. Mr. Damon?
Yes, Doctor?
For your own protection as well as the hospital's, may I suggest that we take some x-rays of your head? Oh, nurse.
Yes?
You can let Dr. Daniels take over on the IV with the old man. And wheel Mr. Damon straight to x-ray. I want a full set of head plates.
Yes, Doctor.
Now, Mr. Damon, there are a couple of questions I'd like to ask you.
Excuse me, sir. Dad?
Mike, are you all right, son?
Oh, I feel fine, Dad, except for a headache. Oh, Dr. Considine, this is my father, Reverend Damon.
Oh, how do you do? Nurse, can we get going?
Yes, Dad, what happened? How did I get here?
Well, perhaps you can explain, Reverend, as we walk along. I want to get to x-ray.
Well, I wish someone could explain to me what happened.
I can, sir.
Let me check the IV on old PJ. Wait a minute.
What is it, Doctor?
PJ here. He's bought it this time. Oh, this is not my night. We might have pulled him through. Oh, there's going to be the devil to pay around here.
Oh, you can say that again. It's the God's truth, Dr. Considine. Came right out of the old man's mouth and across the room and up the young man's nose like that, with a burning, cindery smell like the old scissor grinder's wheel used to make. A great black cloud with red eyes in the middle and a long forked tail. Oh, I've taken off on me mother's grave towards the devil himself.
Yes, Mrs. Gideon, I think you can leave the medical discussion to us, and I'm sure you have important work waiting.
Oh, bless us, I left me pail and mop there. I hope nobody's been after stealing that mop. It had a brand new head on it.
Well, at least I know now where the smell of alcohol came from. I can't blame you for that, Daniels.
Sure.
But I just can't accept it. In an emergency room, you concentrate on a seemingly healthy patient while you lose a really sick old man.
PJ was a repeater, Doc. He's long overdue for uremic poisoning or cardiac arrest. But this young guy, Damon...
Well, complete your sentence.
I was just thinking... That magnificent body, physically way above par, and the injury I thought I saw, well, would have left him a vegetable for the rest of a long life if we'd pulled him through.
What injury?
That depressed fracture. Most of the brain should have been injured beyond repair.
You say what you thought you saw. Apparently you didn't see anything.
You heard Mrs. Gideon back me up, Doctor.
Come in.
Oh, it's the wet plates, Doctor, from X-ray.
Light up the viewing fields, Daniels, and let's have a good look. Satisfied?
Well, sir...
Oh, somebody gave him a knock on the head, all right. There's some exterior evidence of that, but of any fracture?
None I can see.
Well, you're the doctor of record. Shall we send him home?
I see no reason not to.
Okay. Now I'd better get up to OR. Coming! Trudy!
Well, don't look so disappointed, Rod.
Good. Come in. Say, sweetheart, what are you doing here at this hour?
Oh, I couldn't sleep after your call, so I drove over. Is Mike back from the hospital?
No, I thought the bell was Dad and Mike. They're on the way home right now.
How come you didn't go to the hospital?
Well, we've been trying to get in touch with Anton Azarak.
Oh?
So Dad thought one of us should be here in case he called back.
Oh.
I mean, to find out what happened. Yeah. All right, and cool it.
Oh, what a name for a cat.
Why, I see nothing wrong with it. I think a martyr belongs in a minister's family.
Oh, is that my fate as your wife to be?
Of course not. We just called her that because Mike and she never seem to get along.
Well, it's hard to figure about the cat. Mike is such a kind, gentle sort of a giant. I thought all animals loved him.
Well, it depends what the word includes. Oh, wait a minute, there's a car now. The return of the prodigal son. Now maybe we'll find out just what happened last night. And that's honestly all I can tell any of you. You were making a fresh fire in the fireplace at 5:30 in the morning and straightened up too fast and knocked yourself cold on the underside of the mantelpiece?
Well, what other explanation is there, Rod?
Well, it is solid oak, and that big round ornamental sphere is a menace. I've regretted it every time I've bumped my own head on it.
Yeah, but Dad, you never hit your head hard enough to knock yourself cold.
Mike, why were you making a fire at that time in the morning?
Well, I wasn't actually making one. I was replacing one. Professor Azarak was with me last night, coaching me for an exam I have coming up, and, well, he got cold.
Oh, come on. It wasn't cold enough for a fire last night.
Well, maybe when you went to bed, but we were up all night. And the professor's a pretty old man.
What were you doing up at that hour in the morning, Dad?
I really don't know. Something woke me, and I...
Are you all right, Reverend Jace?
Excuse me, Trudy, dear. Yes, I'm fine. I'm just recalling that moment this morning. How vivid it was. I was startled out of the depths of my sleep to wide awakeness. I had a vision of Mike surrounded by flames. It was so real, I even said a little prayer. Then I hopped out of bed, went to the window. It wasn't very dark anymore. And looking across, I could see that all the studio lights were on and the front door open. And I thought I'd better go and have a look.
And when you got there, you found Mike on the floor unconscious?
Yes. Lying on his face, white as a sheet, and deathly cold.
Oh.
Yeah, but what made you call the hospital? It's not like you to panic.
Well, I realized that, but the back of his head looked as though he'd been felled by some superhuman mailed fist. It was all bent inward.
I thought the hospital said Mike was all right.
Oh, I am, Trudy. A clean bill of health. Nothing to worry about.
My fault. Must have been an illusion, of course.
Well, I think if the Inquisition is over, I'm going to make up on some sleep. Oh, that damn cat! I've forgotten about her. Will you keep her in there away from me?
What's the matter with her?
Been a very strange night and morning, and I have a hauntingly uneasy feeling.
You mean about Mike?
About Mike. I hope the hospital was right to give him a clean bill of health. He doesn't seem himself at all. Not at all.
Hello. Ezerick? Michael. What the hell happened last night? Okay, not on the phone. I'm going to rest now. But you be sure to be here tonight.
So far in our modern legend, we have caught up with superstition, witches, magic, both black and white, enchantment, spells, abracadabra. Well, there are 2 more acts to come. I'll be back very shortly with Act 2.
When you say Budweiser, when you say Bud, it's a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. When you say Bud, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beer. There is no other one. There's always something less. Because the king of beer is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. You said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Who will cope with tomorrow for a brighter new day? There's one hope for tomorrow, the children of today. Who will live to inherit all we've done? Who will pay? Who will give love and share it? The children of today. We've got to save the children and save the world. Help them to grow to know that life is worth living. Save the children and teach the world to reach out with open arms and spread their love to others. Return to sanity.
You can reach out to help a child. For information, write Save the Children, Box 120, Grand Central Station, New York.
A young man rushed to the hospital with a depressed fracture of the skull, which should have mangled his brain. A chronic drunken repeater back in emergency on the edge of fatal acute alcoholism. And an aging cleaning woman who thought she saw a malign spirit pass from the drunk to the young man. Now, apparently in full health, we'll be able to appraise just how healthy the young man who made his remarkable recovery is.
Be right there. Professor Azarick, please come in.
Must you be so formal?
After last night and today, I'm taking no chances. Maybe with your superior intelligence, you have no worries about our abortive attempt at Satanism. But I have. Look, I was the victim, and since a crack on the head denied me any knowledge of what happened, I'm only hoping you can give me the straight goods.
The straight goods. A peculiarly inept term for what we are engaged in, my brother in Satan.
Damn it, it's not a deal in semantics, Sanctum. Now, what happened after I summoned up the fiend? I mean, how did you escape, and how could I have been harmed? As long as I was safe in the magic triangle within the circle.
I warned you to keep your feet still. If you touch any part of the circle itself or the triangle within it, you are at the mercy of all the devils in hell.
And if I'd known what I was getting into when I picked your philosophy course, I'd have quit.
You made the mistake of not realizing how vulnerable your soul was as the son of a minister.
All right. I'm not crying over what happened. I just want to know what it was. Now, where was I?
By the fireplace, lying prostrate. The way you fell after he hit you.
Who hit me?
The devil you summoned.
But where did he appear?
Outside the circle here.
The inner or the outer?
Beyond the outer, of course. There was water scattered between the circles, and wolfsbane scattered through it. And within the circle you had the brazier burning.
Everything as you ordered it and arranged it.
Yes, but...
But? What went wrong?
Your ego.
My ego? What does that mean?
You lost your head. Or at least almost did. This was a simple experiment by someone who seemed a true psychic to raise a minor antichrist. The motive was strong enough to create belief, or at least the hope of belief. You wanted a familiar to procure your brother's woman for you. Beshal, you were to call forth. Why did you call on Ashtaroth, a giantess beyond your control?
I don't know. Look, do I have to explain?
No. Ever since you became my disciple, you told me that you had lusted after the woman your brother brought home as his bride.
The only thing I've never been able to take from Rod whenever I wanted.
When you finished the incantation and summoned Ashtaroth, I thought the house would come down about our ears. The earth rocked like the San Francisco quake. And suddenly she stood without the circle, a huge figure in chainmail and medieval armor. Meddler and slave, she said, how dare you summon me for your petty desires? Learn this lesson once, if not for all. Turn your face from me in shame. And as you turned, she reached out with her mailed glove and struck you on the top and back of your head. You dropped like a stone.
Across the magic circles?
They weren't designed for major devils.
You swore no presence could cross them.
Nothing but her arm and her fist.
But it's 5 feet from that outer circle to the center of the triangle where I was standing.
I told you the circle was for lesser demons.
What happened after she struck me?
The spirit disappeared. The room was clogged with smoke. I opened the door to let it out and came back to you. You had fallen almost into the fireplace. I pulled the rug back, arranged the furniture as best I could, and fled. I thought you were dead.
Oh, I'm alive.
Yes, but it's not possible. When I left you just before sunrise, you were dead.
What witchcraft can do, it can undo. Whoever and whatever I am, I'm alive. Make no mistake about that. Goodbye, Anton. I don't need you anymore. Oh, hi, Trudy. I thought you'd gone with Rod and Dad.
Hello, Mike. I thought you were over in the studio.
We ran out of beer.
Ah, you're out of luck. Rod's bringing some home.
Well, I found something more refreshing.
What?
You.
Oh, if you'd waited just a little longer, you'd have found me anyway. I was going to wander over to the studio and visit you.
Oh, so that's why you stayed home.
Oh, don't be silly. Someone had to wash the dishes. As long as I'm house guest, I thought I ought to do something for my keep.
Well, you're staying here tonight?
1 whole week. Mom went up with Pops to his 35th class reunion. And they figured that with one full-fledged minister and a recent hospital dropout, I was suitably chaperoned.
Safe as a church, huh? Rod and Dad say when they'd be back?
Not till pretty late, I guess.
Mm.
Pretty rough section of town. That's why Rod insisted on going along.
What's the occasion?
That's one of your father's oldest parishioners. I guess the old lady is dying. She asked for the minister.
Well, her loss, my gain.
What?
Oh, nothing. It's just a stupid joke. You said you wanted to see the studio?
Oh, yes. Would you mind?
Mind? Look, I'm out of beer, but I've got some champagne that's begging to be what it is.
Oh, what is it?
A split. Just right for sharing. Shall we go? Well, won't you walk into my parlor, said Beelzebub to the flies.
Oh, no, what's that supposed to mean?
That is the advantage of a classical education.
Uh-huh.
Beelzebub, god of the Philistine city of Ekron. You know, he was known as the Lord of the Flies.
What?
Well, now there you've got me.
Oh, he sounds horrid.
Well, he wasn't very popular with Christians. In fact, they called him the Prince of Devils.
Lord of the Flies.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it gives me the creeps.
Here's something to chase your creeps away.
Oh, I don't want that, Mike. It goes right to my head.
Oh, just a sip. A good luck toast to sister and brother-in-law Hood. Our getting to know you party.
Well, far be it from me to be a party pooper. There's nothing more cozy and reassuring than a room full of books. What's this section here?
Oh, that? That's the main reason I needed Dad's particular library, since my exam was in metaphysics.
The Black Arts, The World of Witches, Essentials of Demonology, The Satanic Mass. Oh, it's a strange collection for a minister.
And it's always good to know your enemy. You know, Dad's quite an authority on the devil and his work.
And you? Are you thinking of becoming a minister, Mike?
Me? No. Perish the thought. No, my philosophy is too easy for that. I long ago decided that if you can't fight 'em, join 'em. I mean, can't you see how evil I am? Tempting you with spirituous beverages, coaxing you here to my lair, and now, having anesthetized my prey, making ready to spring.
I don't think you're being very funny, Mike. Oh, is this where you hit your head?
Oh, yes, so they say. No, I wasn't being altogether funny.
What do you mean?
Trudy, have you any idea how jealous I am of my older brother?
Of Rod? Why?
A month ago, or whenever it was, they turned up with you. My first thought was, why couldn't I find something like that?
That's very flattering, Mike. But you're a little young for the big step.
Not so young as you think. Perhaps. I don't care what you and Rod have been to each other. It was me you wanted. Still want. Only you're afraid of breaking your word.
This is a joke.
It's no joke.
Mike, let go of me.
You wanted me from the moment you laid eyes on me, just as I have you.
Oh, you've been reading too many naughty books.
Don't laugh. There's nothing funny about this.
No, not really. Offensive.
You're afraid of me.
Don't be silly.
Afraid of yourself.
Now that really is the last straw.
Test it. Fasten your mouth to mine. Wind yourself about me. Try forbidden love, and it will never let you go.
No, Mike, let me go. You're hurting me. Oh, that's Rod home with your father. If you won't let me go, I'll scream.
What are you going to tell them?
Nothing. I wouldn't want them to know what a pig you are. I think that blow on the head must have done more damage than you think. Mike, you better see a psychiatrist. Hi, Rod. Dad. Well, we didn't expect you.
Astaroth. By Lucifer. I'll have you yet. Cowering at my feet like a slave. To use you once and destroy you. As I shall use your surrogate tonight. For whether she may be.
Oh, dear. How bestial.
What, Reverend Damon?
Just something that happened to a girl on the other side of town.
Let me see. Rachel. Oh, awful.
Well, you got me going. You too, John?
Well, since you can't read, I'll read it to you. The body of Elizabeth Migler, 21, was discovered in Marsden Park today by a passerby. Although it was later determined the girl had been raped, the strange features of the case are that she was not robbed, and as though by some ferocious animal tooth marks, showed that her throat had been literally ripped to pieces. Good Lord.
Where is Marsden Park?
Clear over the other side of town.
When did it happen?
Night before last.
Morning, all. I hope breakfast is all ready. I'm famished. What's wrong with that cat? Well, it's beginning to bug me.
A lot of things are beginning to bug me.
What'd you say, honey?
Nothing, Rod. I don't think I'll have any breakfast this morning. I don't feel like eating. No, Rod, please, don't come with me. I'd rather be alone.
Lovers' quarrel?
Look, will you just take out, brother mine? It's none of your business.
For Trudy's sake, for everyone's sake, would that it were. But, unfortunately, we know better. Or do we? The crime happened miles away, and the devil that may possess Mike is there only on the evidence of a tipsy charwoman. Who summons the devil never calls for him in vain, and once met, few are lucky to get rid of him again. I'll return shortly with Act 3.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love. But give your cold the contract. The sooner the better.
The common cold is a rotten thing. You miss so much. Sneezing, drips, and congestion can drag you down. Then, ask yourself the contact question. 6 or 3 or 1? You'd need 6 cold tablets, 2 every 4 hours, or 3 ounces of Cold's liquid, 1 every 4 hours, or just 1 contact for up to 12 hours continuous relief of those symptoms. That's daytime, then nighttime relief. Both the others have things for aches and fever, and the liquid, something for coughs. Not found in Contact 600 Tiny Time pills.
Give your cold the contact.
6 or 3 or 1. Take Contact. Only as directed.
Shining, why, you'd be so surprised. You'd stare up at the heavens with those big blue eyes, and the wind would carry all of your light up to the sky, and the sun would start shining again. And the sun would start shining.
You can help make the sun start shining again through the United Nations Children's Fund. This is Bill Anderson, asking you to be generous when the neighborhood youngsters come to your door to trick-or-treat for UNICEF this Halloween. Please drop a few coins in their little orange boxes and help UNICEF bring better food, medical care, and education to millions of needy children.
In the kitchen of the Damon house, Rod glares angrily at his brother, who shrugs it off and goes to the refrigerator for orange juice. A troubled Reverend Damon eyes both his sons as he closes and folds the tabloid in his hands, as if it were just as unclean as it is. Rod, unchallenged by Mike, breaks the silence first.
I better go on upstairs and check on Trudy.
Well, she said she wanted to be alone.
Look, will you stay out of this?
Well, I'm not even in it. Just an objective comment.
So keep it to yourself.
Now, come on, Rod. I didn't mean to butt in. Catch me up. What's all the hostility about?
No hostility. Just a reaction to a peculiarly unpleasant crime. I think I'll go up and apologize to Trudy for spoiling everyone's breakfast.
That's a good idea, Dad.
If I can leave you two alone.
Well, I have no quarrel with anyone.
Now, forget it, Dad. I just got upset over Trudy. I shouldn't have jumped on Mike.
Well, then, let me see if I can make our future in-law a little happier in our house.
What happened, Rod? Oh, it all started over this tabloid story about some poor kid who got raped and mangled in Marsden Park. Oh? Here, read all about it. Kind of gruesome, all right. But there's one of these every day. Yeah, but not in such gory detail. It really got to Trudy. I've never seen her upset like that. I mean, so subjectively involved. Oh? What do you suppose triggered that? Oh, I don't know. I just sure wish I did. Or maybe it's better to let sleeping dogs lie.
Who is it?
Your future father-in-law. May I come in for a minute?
Just a sec. The door's locked. Come on in, Reverend Damon.
Feeling any better?
Oh, not really.
Oh, I should be ashamed of myself reading that yellow sheet. I like to think it helps keep my sense of balance, but maybe I'm just a seeker of vicarious excitement.
Like that rather complete collection on Satanism and the occult that you have in your studio?
Ah, you noticed that, did you?
Night before last. When I was over there with Mike while you and Rod had gone to see your old parishioner who was dying. Did she?
As a matter of fact, no. She made a remarkable recovery.
Oh, really? Well, you looked so sort of worried when you came home. I thought
I was worried about you, Trudy. And Mike.
Why?
You, because I knew you were upset about something. Well, you can't be a minister for over 40 years without learning to read something about people.
And Mike?
Mike is an enigma to me since I brought him back from the hospital. A rather terrifying thought to realize I've lost contact with my own son. I'd like to ask your help, Trudy, and I'll lay it right on the line. Why were you at the studio with him? And what happened there?
You won't tell Rod?
Not if you don't want me to.
Then what I'd like more than anything is to tell someone, most of all you. For Mike's sake. Because I think he needs help. And you're the only one who could bring it to him. Or make him go find it.
Well, Reverend Damon, this is a pleasure. I'm on my way to a class. Can we talk as we cross campus?
Yes. Just, what is the name of your course that Mike is taking?
Philosophy. Perhaps more specifically, metaphysics. Rather freewheeling. I mean, it's advanced, and we spend more time on the perimeters than we do on the core subjects.
Just what were you and Mike up to that long night before his injury?
I was coaching him for an examination.
An examination in what? On what subject?
By the class I teach, general philosophy.
And you left before Michael was hurt?
For good Lord, yes. Would I have left the boy if he were injured?
Would you have fled the scene unless you were up to something dark and vile enough to stain your reputation?
I am sorry your boy was hurt. I had no part in it. And I resent your holier-than-thou accusations. If you'll excuse me, I have a class waiting for me.
Now for the rug. There. Does it? Oh, my dear Lord. Just what I was afraid of.
What are you afraid of, Dad?
You, Mike. That you turned away from God to seek the devil. Why, Mike? Why?
Who knows? Now, what shall I tell you, That life's a drag. It has no purpose, no goals, no triumphs that aren't tarnished. That there's no good in man. Nothing but pettiness and meanness and me first and the devil take the hindmost.
That's not what I brought you up to believe.
No one blames you, Dad.
That Trudy was the last straw. That Rod could find the woman he wanted, and she could turn out to be the one that I need. So I chose his worship. And here we built my altar.
Don't desecrate that name. The altar belongs to God.
This altar belongs to Satan. See the circle traced in vermilion paint? Exactly 9 feet wide, an 8-foot charcoal one within. Light the votive candles, burn the incense, let the mass begin.
Mike, what are you doing? I won't tolerate this sacrilege.
You can no more move than the woman I desire can resist my power. I am the way. I am the darkness. I am the truth. Lord of the universe, whom the winds fear. I am he whose mouth ever flameth. You answer me. The I invoke, the bornless one that did create the darkness and the light. Thee I command to serve me and send me the woman I desire.
Trudy, don't come in here.
But the rain.
What's going on here? Rod, it's your brother. He's gone mad.
Spawn of the outer world. Stay back. Stay back. I will smite thee dead where thou standest. Leave except the woman who is mine.
What's going on?
Look out. He's going for Trudy.
Now, look, Dick, you're
Oh, he hasn't died.
Would you murder your own brother?
Okay, that's enough fooling around.
You know I could always take you.
Oh, Rod, I hope you haven't hurt him too much.
Oh, don't worry, baby. He always had a glass jaw.
He had something more perishable than that. Call the hospital. And better tell them to bring a straitjacket.
The top of the night to you, Mrs. Gideon. And what's that wee bottle in the paper bag? A little poteen?
Nothing of the sort, Dr. Smart-Aleck. That's a noggin of holy water blessed by me own Monsignor, which I carry with me when I come near this place ever since 3 days ago. What happened to old P.J.? Did anyone ever turn up to claim him?
No. Oh, by the way, while we're on the gossip column, guess who's back in the hospital?
Oh, not the other one.
Mm-hmm, the same. Lying in the emergency room under a deep sedation in a straitjacket.
Oh, what did they bring him back here for?
That's what Dr. Considine and his father, the Reverend Damon, are discussing now in the prep room. Well, if you're going to swab out the emergency, you'd better get at it fast.
Well, I'll tell you something, Doctor. If I'm to be there and alone with that devil, you'll never see emergency this clean again. For I'm adding the Monsignor's holy water to me pail right now, just in case.
Of course, we'll run every neurological test in the book on him under the circumstances, Reverend Damon.
I'm not sure it will do any good. I'm afraid the trouble is psychiatric.
Well, it has to be one or the other, unless we're to accept Mrs. Gideon's diagnosis of possession.
Mrs. Gideon? I remember now. She was one of the people, like the intern, who remembered that they thought they saw considerable skull compression.
Which never existed, believe me. Just an illusion like Mrs. Gideon's.
What was Mrs. Gideon's illusion?
Well, I'm afraid she'd had a drink or two, and she had some wild story about a black devil streaming out of an old dipsomaniac who was also in the emergency room and being sucked up through your son's nostrils. I'm really even embarrassed to mention such nonsense. Come in.
Excuse me, Dr. Considine, but the patient is coming too.
Mr. Damon?
Yes, sir. He's still in the straitjacket.
I think, Reverend, if you don't mind, until we see what state he's in.
I don't mind. You might as well both know that the police are by now well aware that my son was responsible for the violent death of a young woman the night before last while under the possession of whatever devils or devil owns him. Shall we go?
By Nergal and Tammuz and Belphegor,
No one can hem me in. I am Belial, Lord of the Flies, and your bonds cannot hold me.
Good Lord, he's out of the straitjacket. I'll get help.
What's going on here, Mrs. Gideon?
Oh, the Lord preserve us. It's the devil incarnate. Oh, stay away from him, Doctor. He'll burn you to a crisp with his fiery breath.
All of you, stay away from him. Leave him to me. Michael, my son. Call me not by that filthy angel's name. Stay away, old man, for I carry death in my hand as a sword. Michael, I warned you.
Oh, you administer man of the cloth. Get back. Get back!
What happened?
Oh, sure, it was the Monsignor's holy water. It's as strong as life.
Michael, no.
All right, boys.
All right, Daniels, you're too late.
What?
Excuse me, Reverend. Let me see. Daniels, come here.
Yes, sir?
Was that the depression you were talking about when this man was first brought in?
Yes, sir. That's what I thought I saw.
Well, at least it's what we all see now.
But how?
I haven't any answers. I only know... I'm sorry, Reverend Damon, but your son is dead.
He hasn't been my son since his first visit here. The mercy of God is that whatever possessed him died with him, thanks to this lady here.
Oh, if I hadn't had the holy water, Oh, the Lord does move in mysterious ways. Don't he, Reverend Sir?
In mysterious ways and kind ones. What a field day the Reverend Damon's tabloids might have had if Michael had ever come to trial for the death of that poor innocent girl. Innocent. Perhaps that's the theme of this dark history. If Michael had been less innocent, and had had the guts to be less self-interested and bored, how different his world might have been. But that's the answer, isn't it? We all make our own world. We can't rely on anyone else to make it for us. I'll be back shortly.
Here's a medical puzzle. A person has a deadly disease, yet leads a normal life. How is it possible? The answer is chemotherapy. Through this treatment, thousands of cancer victims regain active, productive lives despite their cancer. Many of these people can continue in their jobs for years, while the anti-cancer drugs, which we call chemotherapy, control their disease. But many types of cancer remain difficult to control. Through research, the Chemotherapy Foundation is stimulating the development of new drugs. More types of cancers will someday be controlled. The question is not if, but when. You can help by contributing to the Chemotherapy, that's Chemo, C-H-E-M-O, Therapy Foundation, Box 8, New York, New York, 128. That's the Chemotherapy Foundation, Box 8, New York, New York, 128. This is a public service message from the Chemotherapy Foundation.
I suppose I should resist the impulse, but I have to admit I can't. It's one of the rewards for being host, particularly with guests who can't answer back, at least directly. So just for once, a homily. Reach out and find life. Take it and make the most of it. For if nothing else, our story proves to the hilt the oldest of adages. If you don't, the devil finds work for idle hands to do. Our cast included Donald Buca, Joan Shea, Ian Martin, Guy Sorrell, and Leon Janney. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Now, a preview of our next tale.
No trouble, though.
He went numb pretty fast.
I thought he would.
He wanted me to give you a message, but then he couldn't remember what it was. And he thinks you're some kind of a warden.
Poor man.
You know, Mr. Z, I didn't much like it inside that room.
You knew you were coming out.
Who ever dreamed up the Black Room anyway?
I've no idea.
Somebody must have.
There's always been a Black Room, far as I know.
Hell of a place.
Yes.
How long will he last, do you think?
Matter of days. Weeks, possibly.
Then what?
He'll go mad. Or die.
Wonder what he's doing now.
Oh, counting by twos, then by threes, then by fours. Anything to keep from thinking. That's what they all do.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Good evening. This is Peter Lorre. Would it bore you to hear a tale of tragic murder? Are you unwilling to sit through the telling of a strange and horrible story? The brief narrative of a man caught in a web of evil? You're not? Then, my friends, keep right on listening to the Mystery Playhouse. Humor, I've heard it said many times, is of real benefit to him who possesses one. This particular sense has come to be so generally admired that it has attained the stature of a first-class virtue. Well, the fellow whom you're about to meet, while hardly falling into the virtuous category, he does have a sense of humor. Things like murder or hate and madness, or someone telling him his mother just died, practically rose him in the eyes. He loves a good, ghoulish joke. And he loves to tell them, too. He's about to start one now. So follow me, please, to the inner sanctum and your host, Raymond.
Good evening, friends of the inner sanctum. Now come in, won't you? This is your host, Raymond, again, disturbing the peace. Say, have you ever had the screaming meanies? Did you ever get an attack of the yelling and wailing jitters? You walk in your sleep? Do you ever wake in the middle of the night shrieking at the top of your lungs? Oh, you do? Well, you must be an awfully hard person to live with. Well, friends, it's time for our story to begin. From this point on, forget everything pleasant. Get a finger ready to chew on, turn the lights down low, and listen to Peter Lorre tell you the blood-curdling tale, Death is a Joker. Come with me to the criminal court building. The tense hush falls upon the spectators as Charles Luther takes the stand.
Gentlemen of the jury, I'm accused of murder. I'm an actor. A comedian. Look at my face. Ugly, huh? Yes, so ugly that whoever looks at it laughs. I'm not telling you this to win sympathy for myself. I tell you this because it is important to your understanding. The strange events that brought me to this courtroom today to plead for my life. Shortly before midnight of November 28th, I went to the apartment of my friend Robert Langlow, the famous actor and laughing guy.
So, well, this is a surprise. Come in.
Thank you.
Would you like a drink?
No, don't bother. I don't want anything.
No? Well, here, may I take your thing? Oh, excuse me. George. Oh, George. Yes, I have the money for you. You'll be up? When? 20 minutes? Yes. Right. George Gelvin. You know him, Charles?
Yes.
Rotten actor. An excellent poker player.
So I've heard. Robert, before leaving the theater tonight, someone told me that you and Julie Winthrop are going to be married. Is it true?
Yes, we'll be married in 2 weeks, right after my wife gets a decree in Reno.
You must not marry Julie.
Not marry Julie? Well, who are you to tell me what I can do?
I know Julie well, and I also know you. That's why you must not marry her.
Charles, it might be better for you to mind your own business. Julie and I are in love with each other.
No, you're not. She's fascinated by your good looks. She's impressed by your fame, but she does not love you.
Now, look here. We may be old friends, but I've stood all I'm going to, wait a moment. I get it now. You're in love with her yourself.
I'm in love with Julie. No, we are just friends.
Friends? You're madly in love with her. That's why you came here tonight, isn't it?
No.
Friends.
Stop, you're laughing.
You in love with a girl like Julie.
Why should my love make you laugh?
Oh, so you admit it, huh?
All right, I do. Why is it so funny?
Do you think she'd have you? You, a clown, ugly, clumsy. You in love with Julie?
And why not? Why not?
You!
Stop your laughing. Stop it.
Can I? Look at yourself. Charles, let go of me.
No.
You're choking. Let go.
Joe. Joe. Laugh. Go ahead. Laugh now. Laugh. Robert. I didn't mean it. Robert. Lord, what have I done? I rushed out of his apartment, trembling. I turned my coat collar up to hide my face. The streets were crowded with people coming from the late movies and restaurants. I tried to make myself act naturally, but it was impossible. Everyone I saw, every pair of eyes that looked at me, seemed to accuse me of my crime. I stopped, waited for the light to change.
Paper, mister. Morning paper. Read about the Reynolds execution.
Yeah, let me have one.
There you are.
I didn't know Reynolds was to be executed tonight.
Yeah, they burned him. Well, he deserves it. Murdering his friend like he did. Oh, wait a minute, mister. You forgot your change.
Oh, never mind. I went to my apartment and I looked at the newspaper I had bought. There was a photograph of Reynolds on the first page. In his face, I saw my future. The shattered hopes, the torture of the trial, the horrible, nerve-wracking experience of waiting for death. I flung the paper away. I went to the window. I opened it. I looked down 17 floors to the ground. How tiny people look. The automobile lights moved like so many fireflies. I climbed out on the edge. I braced my arms. Took a deep breath. One last look. I closed my eyes and... Doorbell rang. I hesitated a moment. I decided to answer it. I closed the window, went to the door.
Hello, Charles.
Julie.
Why did you rush away from the theater tonight? I was anxious to talk to you.
Talk to me about what?
I need your advice, Charles.
What's wrong?
Well, it's Robert.
What happened?
Well, nothing happened. It's just that I'm not sure I love him.
I'm not sure.
Yes, when I'm with him, everything seems all right. He's handsome and charming, but when I'm alone, I begin to wonder and to doubt.
Why?
Can't you guess why?
Yes. You love someone else?
Yes.
Oh, who is it?
You.
Me?
Yes, that's what I came here to tell you. That's why I don't want to marry him. Yes, I would have told you before, but I was so afraid of making a fool of myself. You didn't seem to care.
I didn't care. Julie, this is crazy. I loved you from the moment I saw you.
You loved me?
Yes.
But, darling, why didn't you tell me?
I tell you. How could I? You're so young, so beautiful. And I, look at me. Ugly, clumsy. How could I speak to you?
Words without words. How you look means nothing to me.
Nothing?
Of course not, darling. How lucky we are we found out in time.
In time? In time? Oh, merciful heavens. What a joke. What a joke.
Charles, what's wrong? There's a tear streaming down your face. Charles, you're hysterical. Now stop it. Stop it.
Julia. Something you must know.
Yes, sir.
Tonight I committed a murder.
Murder? What are you talking about?
I killed Robert.
Killed Robert? Out of your mind. You don't know what you're saying.
But it is true. I went to his apartment and we quarreled and I killed him.
Oh, no.
You told me a moment ago that you loved me. You still love me?
Yes, Charles.
Then tell me what to do, Julie. Help me. I can't think. I don't know where to turn, but what can I do, Julie? What can I do?
Pull yourself together, Charles. This may not be as hopeless as you think.
Why?
Was Robert alone in the apartment when you called?
Yes.
Were you seen entering or leaving?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, his apartment is on the second floor. I walked up and down.
What time did you get there?
Shortly before midnight.
And what did you do before that?
Went to a movie.
Movie? How long did you stay there?
Oh, only about 20 minutes.
Do you have the ticket stub?
Huh? Yes, here it is.
Charles, do you realize what this means? They may never find out about you.
Never find out?
That's right. They won't suspect you since they can't know your motive. No one saw you enter or leave, and you have an excellent alibi.
Motive? Alibi, Julie? Do you realize what they're doing? They're talking of this as if you planned this crime, as though we were criminals. But I committed a crime, yes, but I'm no criminal. I didn't mean to do it.
I know, darling, I know. You must think of your own life now. And mine.
Yes, Julia. Oh, I see what you mean. I'm not a criminal, but I must play the role of a criminal now. A subtle, clever criminal who is cunning enough to escape punishment. Can I do it? Can I do it, Julia?
Charles, listen to me. We must find out how much the police know. If it's hopeless and they have found out about you, then it would be best to give yourself up. But let's not make any decisions until we know.
How can we know?
Did Robert expect anyone tonight?
Yes, George Galvin phoned when I was there. He said he'd be up in about 20 minutes.
Then the body must have been discovered by now.
Yes, I'm sure the police must be there by this time.
I think that I'll go to Robert's apartment.
No, Julie, no. I didn't want you to become involved.
I'm already involved. If it weren't for me, this horrible thing would never have happened. The least I can do is to help you now.
But, Julie.
Promise me you'll not leave this apartment, Charles.
All right.
I won't be long.
Julie.
Yes.
If something happens, if something goes wrong and you're separated before you return, I want you to know that I don't know what to say, Julie.
You don't have to say it, darling. I know what you mean. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Criminal. I have to think like one, to act like one, have to be one. What question would they ask?
Where were you at 12 o'clock midnight of November 28th?
I was in a movie. Here's the stub. No, they can see immediately that I'm lying. My voice must not tremble. I shouldn't be so quick with the answer.
Where were you at 12 midnight of November 28th?
Where was I? Let me see. Well, I left the theater and I went to a movie. It was a very amusing picture. Very amusing.
Can you prove what you say?
Prove? Well, I don't know. It would be difficult. Well, now you have the ticket stuff somewhere. Yes, here. Let me show it to you. Here it is.
Did you ever quarrel with Robert Langwell?
Wow, we were friends. We played in many shows together. We were on the best of terms.
That's all, Mr. Luther. You may leave now.
Yes, I can plead. It is possible. I can escape punishment. Police. Can it be the police? Maybe it is Julie.
Good evening, Charles.
George Gill.
I know it's rather late for an unexpected visit.
Yes, it is.
But this is important, Charles. A matter of life and death, you might say.
What do you mean?
Have you a cigarette?
Huh? Yes, here.
Thanks. What's the matter, Charles? Your hand's trembling.
It's nothing.
You don't seem to be your usual self this evening. No quips, no jokes. What's wrong?
I don't always feel like joking.
Yes, Charles. It's strange about human nature, isn't it? Who would have ever dreamed that tonight, a few minutes before midnight, you entered Robert Langwell's apartment, quarreled with him over Julie, and choked him to death?
What are you talking about?
You're an excellent actor, Charles. But you're wasting your talents on me. Save them for the footlights. Or the police.
Police? Will you please tell me what all this is about?
Still acting, huh? Now, look, Charles. You killed Robert shortly before midnight tonight.
You are mistaken. I was in a movie at that time.
So that's your alibi. Very clever. No, Charles. Either we discuss terms now, or I go to the police.
Wait. How did you find out?
That is my secret.
What do you want?
Money. All you have on hand. All you can dig up.
All right. Come with me. I have some money in the bedroom.
All right. Just a moment.
What is business?
Yes.
Why?
I'm taking no chances. Let's go.
All right.
Well, where's the money? Charles, stand back or I'll fire. Stand back.
No. Let go of my hand. Let go. I'll twist it. I'll twist it till that gun points to your head. Charles, let go of my hand. You don't know what you're doing. Come on. Fire. The bullet will enter your brain. Fire. Charles. Fire. Charles, don't. I'll make you fire. I'll squeeze your fingers. Charles, let go. Come on. This is all a joke. I'll make you. Stop it. Charles. Just a second. Just a second.
Charles. Darling, there's nothing more to worry about. Everything's all right now. We can be married and go on living and never fear anything.
What makes you say that?
Darling, you didn't commit a crime at all.
What do you mean?
Robert's alive.
Alive?
Yes, he's downstairs now paying the taxi.
Robert? Is that right?
Yes, I spoke to him about the marriage, and he was wonderful about the whole thing. Darling, aren't you happy? Our worries are all over. You can smile and be gay. That must be Robert now.
Hello, Charles.
Robert. I thought you were...
Well, I'm not.
Oh, but how did you...
see, I fainted. George Gelvin came in and brought me to.
George Gelvin. Did you tell George Gelvin what happened?
Yes, I did. Look here, Charles. As I told Julie, I'm willing to forget the whole thing if you are.
Forget? Forget?
Yes. It might have ended tragically, you know, but thinking it over, I realize I'm as much to blame as you are. So if you're willing to shake hands.
Shake hands?
There now, darling. There's nothing more to worry about. I feel so happy I could... Charles, what's the matter with you?
It's nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Gentlemen of the jury, I became a criminal all because I thought I had committed a crime and I had to think like a criminal. My motives were those of all men. I wanted happiness and marriage to the woman I loved. What would you have done in my place? And I still think I know that guy. I wish I could place him. Well, it must be wonderful to have a sense of humor, but I don't think Charlie feels much like laughing. Do you? We'll pay a return visit to the inner sanctum and its fun-loving host Raymond soon, but don't go, please. Not until we drop in at the green room, where the players are rehearsing our next performance in a mystery playhouse. Come with me, please. Come.
Change the dressings at midnight and again in the morning, nurse.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, Doctor, what did you find? Will I be blind? Is it very bad? Now, take it easy, Mr. Denton. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing at all. You're sure? You aren't just saying that. I'm quite sure. Valerie, did you hear that? I'm not going to be blind. Valerie, where are you?
Right here, darling.
Did you hear? I won't be blind. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, darling, it's marvelous.
You don't sound very excited. Valerie, don't you realize I'm going to see again? She doesn't sound excited because I don't want you to be excited, Mr. Denton. You've got to relax. Try to sleep. Sleep? With this ungodly pain? My eyes feel as though they were on fire. That will stop as soon as the opiate I gave you takes hold. You'll be comfortable, I'm sure. Now, good night.
You're going now, Doctor?
Yes, I'll look in on your husband in the morning.
Stephen.
Yes, Valerie?
Do you mind if I step out into the corridor for a moment?
But you promised not to leave me. I'm afraid, Valerie. Everything's so dark.
The nurse will be here, dear, if you want anything. I just want to ask Dr. Wade some questions.
Questions? But he's already told us.
Yes, Stephen, I know. But I'd like to find out about the treatment and how I'm to take care of you when we get you home, you know. Just little things.
All right. But hurry back. I want you near me.
I will, dear.
Good night, Mr. Denton.
Good night, Doctor. And thank you.
You're quite welcome. After you, Mrs. Denton.
Thank you.
I suggest we step into the consultation room across the hall. You'll have more privacy.
All right.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a long time, Valerie.
Yes, Paul, it has.
Almost 10 years, isn't it?
About that.
Strange that you should have called me, of all people, to treat your husband's eyes.
Oh, I was panicky, Paul. I didn't know what to do. It all happened so suddenly. Stephen was working in his laboratory at the house when suddenly I heard a violent explosion. I ran in and found him clutching his eyes and screaming, "I'm blind." First thing I thought of was an ambulance. Then you...
Why didn't you think of me 10 years ago?
It's not fair, Paul.
Was it fair to turn your back on me and then to marry a man almost twice your age?
Paul, please, why bring up ancient history?
It isn't ancient history to me. I've never forgotten you.
Paul, about Stephen's eyes.
What about them?
I have a feeling that you weren't telling him the truth.
You're right.
Oh, you mean he's not going to regain his sight? He's going to be blind? Oh, Paul.
You don't expect me to be terribly concerned, do you, Valerie? After all, he did take you away from me.
Don't be vindictive, Paul. It wasn't Stephen's fault. He didn't even know of your existence.
And you never told him that we were on the point of being married.
No, never.
It's rather ironic that we should meet again at the bedside of my rival, your husband, a man who may forever walk in darkness.
Don't say that, Paul. It's horrible.
But unfortunately true. A moment ago, you told me not to be vindictive. I'm not, really. But if I were, I could have my fill of vengeance if I told him about us. And then told him that he'll be blind forever.
You wouldn't, Paul.
Or I might take another form of revenge. I could tell you that an operation is called for. A very delicate operation.
Are you trying to say that there might be a chance?
Yes. But supposing I refuse to perform the operation?
Paul, you're joking. You can't mean that.
Perhaps not. But you call me vindictive. Suppose I operate and my scalpel slips. What if he dies?
That would be murder. You're not a murderer, Paul. You wouldn't risk your professional reputation. Why must you torment me this way?
You really love him, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Then forget the things that I've been saying. I want you to think of me as a friend. I want you to trust me.
I do trust you, Paul.
Thank you. Now as to the possibility of surgery. Here is the situation. The transparent film over your husband's eyes, the corneas, were burned and torn by the explosion. They've been so damaged that blindness will result, even though the eyes heal.
But you think an operation would cure that?
Possibly, although it's a very delicate job. The injured cornea must be peeled away and replaced by a fresh, healthy one.
Where can you get healthy corneas?
From the eyes of the dead.
Oh.
It isn't quite as horrible as it sounds, Valerie. You know, dying people often will their eyes for just this purpose. We maintain what we call a corneal bank. It's much the same as a blood bank, only but there's this difference. Corneal tissue can't be stored more than 48 hours. It must be fresh, or it's no good.
You have some available in the bank?
No, that's the trouble. I'm afraid we haven't.
But there's got to be some, Paul.
I don't know where, Valerie. Unless...
Unless what?
I was just thinking. Last night, one of the interns asked me to look at a charity case that puzzled him. The patient is a Hindu or a Persian named Chandra. He lives in a dirty little shack near the waterfront.
Yes, Paul.
I stopped by and examined him. I found him in curable condition. There's no way to save him. He won't live more than a day or two, but his eyes are healthy.
You mean You think he might...
I don't know. You have to have his consent, of course.
Take me to him, Paul. I'm sure I can make him understand.
Oh, it may not be so easy, Valerie. He's a strange person. A mystic and a spiritualist.
Let me try. Just take me to him.
All right. We can go there now.
Doesn't the doctor sound familiar to you? Huh? That's right. It's Boris Karloff, up to his old tricks. I think it might amuse you to be on hand for our next performance, when we present Mr. Karloff and Creeps by Night. This is Peter Lorre closing the doors of the Mystery Playhouse. Good night. Sleep tight.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.